am.
And we're live.
And we are live. Hey everyone, welcome to No Major Opinions. How's everyone doing?
Doing
Good.
good.
Doing all right.
I'm good. Your name is still North American Speedrunner Assembly.
Excellent. Yeah, that's who I am.
Lurk just is NASA.
He does have, yeah, his account is the one that's the owner of the Discord channel. Since I was like, I don't want to deal with this shit. I'll just give it to you.
Right.
I hope everybody enjoyed that epic intro that I made with Lurk's help. So
Yeah, thanks.
pretty
That's
baller.
That's good.
It's gonna get even better as episodes go on. So I have some plans for that.
Yeah, so a quick synopsis of what we're going to do here in this episode. This is our main topic is going to be about marathons and more specifically about like what a speedrun convention and what that sort of thing would mean. But first, let's do a recap of what everyone's been doing. Let's start off with Laz. Laz, how you been doing since the last episode?
Doing all right. I mean, I went through some things outside of gaming and speedrunning, but beyond that, learning Clandestine. It's a new co-op stealth game with ion gravity. It's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully we'll submit it for NASA for this year, so look forward to that, as well as just been playing a lot of games on stream and offline, looking for new potential speed games. Overall, I'm doing all right. Not much has changed.
Right on. Dark Aries, how are things been going?
Things have been going good. I've been trying to get into work, which, if people don't know, I actually have a job as an AV technician. So it's pretty awesome when I get to learn how to do audio and video stuff at work. And I get to eventually use that for the NASA event, which will be pretty baller. I've also been trying to play a lot of puzzle games in my spare time that I have, but I'll be going over that a bit later. But been playing a lot of different puzzle games recently, so.
Cool. Dark Fox, how about yourself? How are things?
Pretty good. I've been pretty busy because it's the holidays and I work in retail, or it was the holidays. But I've been playing a bunch of the new Destiny expansion. I haven't been doing any speedrunning shit, aside from organizing speedrunning shit, because, I mean, let's be honest here. No one actually likes speedrunning.
Damn.
Too real. It's too real.
We need to play that Goose VOD where he talks about
Speedrunning in a nutshell.
speedrunning in a nutshell. Yeah.
That's too good.
And Niglaria, how have you been? What's going on?
A while ago, Furry Yiffer from CFB's The Royal We Discord bought me Civ 5, and I've been just addicted to it, playing the shit out of it. I can't stop, man. I just can't.
Damn, dude.
It's not even like that fun. It's just
it's just
addictive.
Yeah, seriously, that game's amazing.
It can
But
be super
for all the
addictive,
wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Well, not to fuel your addiction, I think Civ 6 is on sale right now for pretty cheap.
Ooh.
Yeah.
For
Apparently,
somewhere.
it's like. Well, it's, yeah. We specifically have like playing on like the NQ mod, and it's like the mod like removes everything that's bad from the base
quit
game.
mod. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with any other Civ games. So aside from that Civ 1, Gandhi's hostility underflowed because they put it at -1, so it was set to like 255. So he was just like a bloodthirsty maniac, which for Gandhi is pretty good.
Bloodthirsty maniac Gandhi. That's what he's known for. And I guess for myself, I drove back home yesterday, 6 hours from Massachusetts or back to Massachusetts. Roads actually weren't as bad as I thought. I thought it was going to be bad. I wanted to fly, but it was going to be $700 to fly. So I said no, I'm not going to do that because I wanted to bring my cat. So yeah.
Is that why it was $700?
Yeah, because it was essentially like the plane ticket itself was like $260, which is okay. But then to add my cat was $125 each way. So
I would never trust an airline with my pets.
No.
Well, I would. It was like bringing them as a carry.
Yeah, you're paying
Oh,
for
yeah,
the
yeah,
fact
unless
you're
it's
gonna
like
have
you.
your cat at your feet, basically.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
they're gonna be with you, then it'd be okay. But if it's like, I wouldn't trust them otherwise. I don't.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
trust them with my fucking Sega Dreamcast. I take everything carry on
Right.
just because I can't stand that shit.
Dude, I've seen Homeward Bound. I know what happens to animals when they go on plane.
Word, dude.
Indeed. All right, so let's move on. Let's get into our the main topic, which is that a speedrunning convention doesn't exist. That type of event doesn't exist. So what would it look like? How would it be accomplished? And how would it be different than, say, like a normal live marathon? Any initial thoughts based on that while I fix the text on the topic?
Well, I mean, I think it's one of the biggest things there is that, like, fuck, forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
I
Someone
guess you
who's
could
not me.
have like a giant.
I had
lineup
like
of
a
booths.
genuine point.
Yeah.
You have like a giant lineup of booths for like every game.
Oh,
You're like,
yeah, now
this
I
is
remember.
the SM64 booth. This is the Ocarina of Time booth. Shit like that.
No, so now what I remember what I was gonna say. Basically, what I was going to say was, I think really what you're asking there is, do you need anything more than what's already at marathons to be considered a convention? I think that's the first question. Like, do you think that like GDQ is basically a convention that's just not labeled such?
I feel like
At
a
this
lot of
point-
people would say that it is.
I
Yeah,
Based on
like-
its size.
It would depend. It would depend how you like personally define convention.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to compare it to like I don't know, like
Well, that's what we need to do
I
before
don't
we
go with
spend.
them. Anime Con,
2 hours talking about it.
Comic Con. That's like everyone would agree that's like a convention, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like GDQs aren't quite like that.
Well,
GDQ has a way to
well-
go to reach convention status, honestly.
if I
I
want to
think-
interject for one
Yeah.
second, the closest that GDQ has ever come to a physical like version of a convention with the like minus of vendors or merchandise would be SGDQ 2014. If anyone remembers that event, that was back when they moved it to Colorado, and this is when Romscout was in charge. The convention size was massive. You had a relatively decent sized marathon room. Actually, it was actually way too big. It was so big, in fact, that the noise was reverbing so much that it was actually causing audio problems. And then to add to that, you also have the practice room, which they divided it in 4 sections. You had the top of the in the top corner of the left of the corner of the room, you had the casual section. And the bottom left was practice, and on the right quadrant, both top and bottom, they were free space. Like you could do whatever. It was so massive. In fact, they said that they compensated way too much. It was also built into the hotel as well. So that was probably the closest they came to a physical representation of a con.
I mean, the thing is, when I think of a convention, like let's say I'm gonna go to Anime North or I'm gonna go to Comic Con in the falls or something like that. First thing that happens, at least when you enter, is there's something to look at. Be it at Comic Con, there's maybe cars or statues or something. Immediately, there's something to see. There's also vendors that you can actually go check out, see if you want to buy some stuff. And there's just people to meet as well, like designated area, like these are where these people are going to be at this time. GDQ has the elements of a convention in the fact that there's a lot of people that show up there to meet out. They have a designated time portion, quote unquote, with runs that happen. There is rooms that you can go into, like let's say the arcade room or like the casual room, the board game room, stuff like that. But it's not cohesive or organized enough to be called a convention, I would think. And they do that on purpose. Because they specifically say that they're not a convention, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
They're
it
a
doesn't seem
charity
like
marathon.
it doesn't seem like they're gonna embrace it.
I don't think they will ever.
Like a pure
Um,
definition, like how for an RPG, it's like if there's a dedicated equipment menu, it's an RPG. Maybe for a convention, it's like if there's paid models, then it's a convention.
I
They
guess.
would
I
okay
guess.
if we brought a paid model into GDQ, they would need like hazard pay at that point. I'm sorry.
The real question that I'm
Um,
asking is what makes a convention? Yeah. What are we
Well-
defining as a convention? So do we
Okay.
need panels and vendors and
So I've never
and
been to like a Comic-Con or anything like that, so I guess I
I
wouldn't
mean,
really know.
I've been to like Otakon a bunch. I've been to MagFest. I've been to PAX once. Like, so I've been to some conventions. Like,
well, the first
and-
thing that
yeah.
I'd really want to get in
Like-
before we get into the definition of what a convention is about what makes an
Yeah.
event legitimate. Like, what about like an event goes, yeah, I'm gonna attend that, or go like, if someone says that they're making a speedrun convention, is that just it then? And then they just, if they do it, they do it, or they just take, is it like a whoever comes first come first serve sort of thing? What about an event makes folks want to attend?
I
Yeah.
would say have an incentive, have something physical, like merchandise would be huge. Have activities in person, like for example, the pinball machines in the arcade weren't in prior GDQs, but that just adds more. You have these fighting game community players come over and they say, "Oh wow, look at all these arcade machines they've got. I can actually come to this event." And not only is it's not excluding people like that, you can come to the arcade and play for fighting games. Or if you're a pinball enthusiast and you so happen to be watching the stream at the same time, you could come to this event and just like, oh, that's an incentive to go because I love pinball machines. I mean, besides just gaming in general in the practice room or the casual room.
Also, the idea of legitimacy, I feel it'd be like it's kind of like jokes, where if nobody laughs at a joke, then it isn't a joke. Or if no one attends a speedrunning convention, then it isn't one. Like you need like the community support is required, but to what extent is kind of it's like an unwritten arbitrary rule. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I mean, in my opinion, what I think it needs, and I think it's kind of a broad statement to be making based on like if it's a tournament, if it's a convention, if it's a meetup, but like it needs like a large prize pool for tournaments, or it needs some sort of sponsorship and backing from from reputable outside organizations, such as like a charity or a convention, or like if Twitch decides to get behind an event, that's sort of a more official kind of platform. And like support, and I think it needs to just have like to like Neglaria's point, it needs to have staff who are like dedicated to making it happen and are like going to attend, and sometimes it matters like who those people are, but a lot of what makes people want to attend is like your consistency. It helps in that regard.
I definitely don't think that prize pools are in any way necessary for tournaments. I mean, MagFest has no prize pools for any of their tournaments, really. And they run tons of tournaments because they're based just around gaming in general, right? Like, they're not really doing an esports event, right? And I don't think that that's in any way what a speedrunning convention would want to do. I don't think you would want to bring in, like Melee players or something, or like fucking Street Fighter players or CSGO players or something like that, right? You don't want to be with DreamHack. You want it to be what it is, which is a speedrunning focused event. So the tournaments would be speedrunning tournaments. I mean, you can have prize pools for like a mystery tournament.
I mean, the thing is, you're saying that with all that, but I'm very certain that probably very good players do go to MagFest and play in those tournaments. Even if there isn't a prize pool, it's that it's a popular enough event that they would go to it, and that would quote unquote bring legitimacy. Like, for example, the DreamHack Montreal, the first year that they did it, they had a Smash tournament, and it was actually really talked about because Hungrybox said that he was going to show up. He didn't end up showing up because there was actually a different tournament that ended up being scheduled for the exact same time frame that he decided to go to instead because there was a different prize pool there and everything. But the fact that he was thinking of showing up gave that Smash tournament some legitimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess in that sense, would a speedrun convention require like I guess in the same sense as what is it, the one that like Trihex and Spike and a bunch of them went to that was in Florida, but last year it was in California.
Smash the record.
Yeah, Smash
The record. Like
Yeah.
that one has a lot of like outside of like GDQs. I think that would have the most like big names with huge air quotes.
Well, they specifically use their big names to advertise it as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, it's like advertising would be a part of
announcing each one, and yeah. I think that like a relationship to an arts organization and stuff like that, where they kind of like say this person's coming to this thing, is like it gives people like a solid excuse to attend, one, because they can go to other like parts of the event, and then two, it's like, oh, they're gonna be there, or I got invited, stuff like that.
I guess that's the equivalent to like Comic-Con or those conventions where it's like, an actor from a movie or the voice actor from a certain series or something is attending. It's like a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Although to that extent, I don't see any speedrunner being as anywhere near as
Influential.
Influential, yeah.
Yeah, no. And with tournaments in general, like I just don't see like the whole thing is that if you're gonna run tournaments at a speedrunning convention, they're gonna be speedrun tournaments. Right? Like, isn't that the point?
Yeah.
So
I'm
prize
thinking, like,
pools aren't
speed
really a
gaming
thing
type.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they could.
So I don't think. I mean, you could, yeah. You could have an entry fee for the mystery tournament of like $20, like a pop or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some fighting game
And then
tournaments,
the
like,
winner
the
gets
game devs themselves are like supporting them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Capcom runs their they basically have created their own like sport out of Street Fighter.
And like as an esport, I don't think there's any speedrun wise. I don't think there's any equivalent for outside of like the GOAT.
Say
Where
that
it was,
again. You kind of cut out there.
They're like 2 years ago. There's like a game where you were a goat.
Goat Escape 2.
Goat Escape, yeah.
Goat Escape 2, yeah. The tournament they had like things like that where it's like some devs will use like a slight competition like as a on game release as a draw.
Yeah, wasn't
That's
there
the closest I've seen.
Azure Striker Gunvolt? Wasn't there the devs put out a thing?
Yeah, I think like Blackie and Cypher, I think, were part of that.
Something like
or am I
a bunch
thinking
of
different
people. Because they had like
But
a trip to Japan or something involved in that. I think there was some sort of prize and to incentive to run their new game essentially.
Yeah.
And I think the live speed gaming, like taking that tournament format and going live, seems like something that either soon or down the line is like going to happen, because it seems to be working out. Like it's a more regularly watched speedrunning thing with pretty decent viewership, I'd say. Even randomizer, something that's only tangentially related to
randomizer is probably the catalyst to all of speed gaming being as popular as it is. Super Metroid and the Link to the Past just exploded in popularity with the randomizers there. For better or worse.
For me, like if you're going to do I guess in the sense of like the way fighting like esports, where it's like you'd vote or have a say on like which games they'll have in these tournaments or which games are run. And most of the popular games for racing, like A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, and the Mario games, I don't really care for them.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't be that interested, to be
honest, but other people seem to enjoy it quite a bit.
I know, it's like it would be a wide draw that most people would enjoy, but it's like I've already seen enough of those games where I'm just kind of like tired out of them. Although I still watch WQ sometimes. Shout outs to our boy.
So,
what's
speedrunning convention, right? Do you think that that's where most events are going to head anyway? Because I think that that's the end game. Like, I think that that's what all of these things are going to turn into as the hobby gets bigger. Like,
it's going to be a lot harder to do, because the thing is with most marathons that happen on site, they're charity events, right? And if you start going more towards a convention aspect, there's like, how are you supposed to get charity money off of that? The vendor says they'll give 10% of their profits or whatever to the charity. Like, the thing, not everybody's gonna want to do that, for example, because it is taking away from their. It looks nice, but I mean, how often can you actually do it and still keep yourself sustainable, especially with such a large amount of people? It's
And I
different if
guess
you're
that's
like a large conglomerate, a large company, and you're already making like a decent margin on something, so you're just taking away a little bit of that margin, giving it to charity. It looks good on your taxes and all that stuff. But the vendors that would be appearing at a speedrunning convention, they can't be that large. Like what, a used video game store, maybe like a console modder, maybe like some t-shirt company. Like I don't even think the Yeti, if they did on-site shirt sales, would be able to pull that off effect. Like they already do it for all their online stuff, but there's only so much that they can do as well.
Yeah, I
because
mean, it could work, but it really depends on what the charity wants to do, right?
Yeah.
and that's another thing I think like GDQ has reinforced, where if people want to think of like a new kind of speedrun event, that they sort of monopolize like what is a speedrun event, or like it has to be a charity marathon with this sort of like format specifically. That if you want to do like an event that even like didn't even have a marathon, like a schedule or a marathon, it was just people doing whatever speedruns they wanted. It's like that would be weird because there's like
Yeah.
a culture that has kind of been like unintentionally, it's just kind of developed on its own.
Well, I mean,
And
Well, there's no good
it's
argument against charity, right? Like it's sort of there's an
mm,
opportunity, you've got people watching you. It's like, why don't you shill for a charity? Because there's a good opportunity for it. Although I think a good counter argument is you can go donate to a charity without someone on a stream telling you to go do it.
yeah.
yeah.
But
I
it
mean,
is
let's
fun. You do participate. There is interaction. Like I get it. You know, it does work.
to put into perspective, I mean, how many marathons happen just to happen that don't have a charity associated with it? Because I think that number is dwindling like literally every single day. Whenever you go watch an online marathon, there's always some sort of charity attached to it. Even if it's not going to a charity, let's say that it's let's raise money for this person to be able to go to GDQ, or this person had something happen in their life and we want to raise money to help them out. There's always some sort of money component going on with most marathons that happen on site or online. There's not very many that actually happen without a money component. I even remember reading the chat for the RTA in Japan English restream, and people are like, where's the charity? Like, what do you mean, where's the charity? Why can't, like, they're just
Yeah,
speedrunning.
it's a
Just show it off.
showcase. Yeah.
Their Japanese community is not that well known to most people. They're doing it to get some exposure. Now, where's the charity? Like,
Yeah, I think
what
that's
do you
going on
want?
like marathon culture, because there is like a marathon culture, and it's kind of like a amorphous blob, and it's kind of not really well defined, I guess.
The centerpiece
So
is always charity. The word
Mm.
charity and the idea is always charity when it comes to any online marathon or
So-
in person.
a speedrunning convention, I think at this point we've basically arrived at the position that a speedrunning convention would have vendors and panels and speedrunning themed tournaments and challenges,
Mhm.
and it would not have a charity associated with it. And that's pretty obvious at this
Maybe.
point, because I don't
Could-
think that, based on everything that's been being said in chat and everything that we've been talking about, like,
Mhm.
I think that it's
Yeah.
pretty obvious that a charity doesn't really lend itself to a convention.
I think
Like-
like us sitting here, like, you know, 4 of us are NASA staff, so it's like if we were to do it, I don't think we'd have a charity involved. Someone else might have a different
Right.
mindset. I mean, I think what the, you know, everything you said is good, and then what it also needs to be is like a meetup for people to hang out with their friends. Like that's the primary reason that people go to
Yep.
events in the first place.
I mean, that's the primary reason NASA exists.
Yeah, or it just needs to be like local or like combined with another event so that it's like convenient, or it needs to be, you just need to be popular enough that people, like, you want to showcase yourself or like a speed game or something like that.
I think
If you can
just
do that, I think people will attend.
Yeah, I think showcasing your run and just doing good speed runs in general should be always the focus of marathons. I think charity is nice, but we have to remember this is a speedrunning marathon, and if you're promoting yourself as a speedrunner and your game, importantly your game, like the personality has to be separate, but the game always comes first. at marathons, quality of the speedrun should always be the most important thing. And I kind of feel like that's missed in GDQs, especially in later GDQs, as they've been really, really laxed on just letting anyone do a run of anything.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
because
I don't even think there's
they
anything.
shifted, right? They
Yeah.
stopped. They went from being a speedrunning marathon with a charity component to a charity event with a speedrunning component.
Yeah.
The goals
I would.
shift between the two,
I
right?
don't. Yeah, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with the charity marathon. It's just it just depends on like what is your goal, and they have a very well defined goal. It's like the number in the bottom right of their stream, and they successfully do their job every time. They'll raise a bunch of money, and it would just be like, what if your goal, like what if you want a goal that isn't just like for the that number, if you want to do something else, and it's like part of the marathon culture that's like evolved. It's doesn't really adopt well with that.
Since we're talking about it, and it's a little topical. Omni put out his book, and he's got an interesting quote concerning like charity marathons. Specifically, I think he's talking about Games Done Quick, but he says that perhaps the most significant impact that marathons had on the actual hobby of speedrunning was giving it a tangible purpose. Runners generally understood that regardless of how much they optimized their runs in games, the result wouldn't have much effect on the world. They would get the satisfaction of completing their project and the bragging rights that come with any significant achievement, but in the end it would still was still just an arbitrary challenge in a video game. Charity marathons, however, their efforts could have a real lasting effect on the world. Not only did that inspire an incredible emotion in many runners, it also became a major motivation for perfecting their runs.
Yeah.
How do y'all
Because I
feel
feel
about that?
like a lot, like it's true. Because like a lot of people, especially like older runners, I guess it would be like it's just a hobby, a passion, and the passion of like speed running. It was like the reason, and now there's like a shift of like that's a reason, and it's like some people may not approach it from like the passion of the hobby in and of itself. So it's like, yeah, there's a few different like tangible reasons people would like have their own personal goals for doing speed runs. I don't think that's necessarily a problem or anything. It's just kind of, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I can throw a little anecdote in here because that question or that entire statement Omni says is a good example of like how I got into GDQs in the first place. From the start of 2013 to 2014, when I went to 2014 AGDQ. I went there because my father had like throat cancer, right? The whole premise was I got into it and I wanted to do something nice, for a charity event. Not so much that I cared to put a good show on for Barkley. Like that run isn't technical at all, but I still tried.
That run was my
That run was
favorite
so
fucking
great.
GDQ run.
It was okay, so it was
Same.
a fun run. We can all agree it was fun, but was it skillful? No. Was it the best showcase? Absolutely not. It was way past estimate. Doesn't matter. What mattered at the time was I did it for a charity reason. Ironic, at the same time while it was happening, people that I talked to at these events come from different backgrounds, and they all had different reasons. But most of the time, if you asked anybody at these events, they would always say, well, I'm just running because it's charity and it gives me an excuse to come to hang out with friends, which is absolutely fine. If that's your baseline reason, awesome. There was another runner that was actually passionate about his run, though, and Fiery Blizzard was one of them. If you guys don't know who Fiery Blizzard is, he's the runner who does VVVVV. He actually did a statement interview with somebody saying that he only came to the marathon because he wanted to improve the game's community and the run itself. Which to me was genuine. He was very genuine about it. He had a lot of friends, of course, because this is when prior SRG was forming. Well, it was actually back in 2013, but he was a huge part of the community. But he didn't do it for fame. He simply did it because he wanted to put on a run. And to finish up, after 2014, after a couple runs I did, I went to the marathon in 2015 and 2016. And I wanted to submit runs, but I didn't want to submit runs for the charity because my opinion had shifted, because after watching 2015 and being there in person, it didn't feel genuine anymore. The feeling that I'm doing something charitable doesn't feel real. The only time that it ever felt real was at 2014, where there was a medical student who was a viewer of Caleb Hart's, actually had a heart-to-heart moment. Now, mind you, he was drunk, so he was absolutely like letting his emotions flow. But he was a medical student who was going to be shipped off to Africa with Doctors Without Borders. So this actually did have a real-world effect, and it makes you feel like a hero when you do this. But when you come to a realization that you go to the marathon just to run a game for a charity event, it feels insignificant sometimes, because your run might not be the best in the world and you're not putting on a good run, and so people won't donate, or the run's not interesting, so people don't care if you put on a good run, which
You're putting a shit time slot.
Yeah, you get put in graveyard shift, which absolutely sucks. But I guess to wrap up what I was trying to get to my point is, I've been there. I've been on the side where I did it for charity, and I've been there to the point where I'm at right now. I look at GDQs and I say, I don't want to submit my run unless I actually want to put on a good performance. I don't mind that if it's for charity, but the focus should always be on the game. Obviously, GDQ has shifted, as we just talked about, but I feel that's in the wrong direction. If you need to make money with your goal, that's fine. But I feel that's counterintuitive and backwards, especially for a speedrunning marathon where you have low-grade, second-rate speedrunners and no shots fired. I mean, I've seen runs where they're just abysmal, absolutely abysmal. And I can't talk, but there could be better quality, absolutely more better quality.
And then I feel like the only games I've been submitting to GDQs recently was where it's like I just want to show off the game in hopes that like more people would appreciate the speedrun, maybe get into it. I'm pretty sure that's what I know a few runners like CGN where he would submit F-Zero just because it's like I'm trying to show off the game, not like myself or like whatever. It's like a game or like show off, and that's kind of like what I only been submitting games, even if it's like a shitty game or not. I just want to be like, hey, y'all should run this or like watch it because it's fun. And for like the speedrun itself. Oh god, Mario Maker. Dark Bro, please don't remind me. Oh my god.
I just want to mention I'm permanently banned in the NASA chat.
Damn.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Am I still?
We can fix that during intermission.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry
Speaking
about
of
You can fix that right
intermission, we're gonna take a quick intermission right here. We're gonna take a quick 3 to 5 minute break, and we'll be right back. See you in a second.
Oh, I slammed it.
Hey, and we are back. That was loud to come into. Holy
Cool.
shit.
So yeah, like a question you were on, like how would you in the chat personally define like what is a convention? And one of the things you're thinking would be like having vendors. And one thing I think specifically with I brought up during the break was I remember Stark Nebula made like an input display Arduino things using someone else's like firmware for Nintendo Spy. And I remember asking on Twitter, it's like how many people would be interested? And a lot of people were like, shit, yeah, it's like get me an Arduino that would just like plug and work it in. Because the actual work involved in getting it all to work, it's not like too technically demanding. It's like soldering a few wires and splitting scales. It's like 30 minutes of it all sorted if you like really know what you're doing, I think. But I'm pretty sure that's like a lot of speedrunners would be like, hell yeah, I'll buy input display for GameCube or N64 or whatever. And I think that could be something that like a vendor could actually sell. Because a lot of things where it's like really niche audiences where it's like people, it's like, oh yeah, I only speedrun fucking 3DO games or like that. It's like, yeah, no vendor's gonna make any money off of that person, but for the like a big chunk probably play like GameCube and 64 or certain games where it's like input display or RGB mods for consoles. I think that'd be something a lot of people would be interested in.
Tier brought up a really good point in the chat. Imagine capture card manufacturers coming and like, for example, Elgato and Avery Media or Magewell showing up and like, hey, try out our latest capture card. This is, here it is with some consoles. Here's how it works. If you want to buy one right on site, just plop some money. Boom. Here you go.
I remember AGU 2012, Nate, who's like SDA's tech guy, he shipped like a box to Mike. It was literally just like 3 by 3 by 3 feet, just full of like easy caps, like not the Chinese knockoff version, like the good ones. He just had like a huge stockpile, and he was like, "Yeah, if anyone wants one, take it." which
But I mean, there is
he seems
definitely
pretty based.
a large market for vendors,
Yeah, even just retro
controllers,
games
mods,
itself.
cables,
Yeah, just everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
So there's a large market, but are there a large number of actual vendors?
That's a good question.
Yeah, like
We can
because
find them.
the only ones I'm aware of are like stores that would mainly sell online. I don't know if there's any like physical stores they would operate.
Well, the thing is, even if you only have an online store, you just have to bring a box of the stuff with you, and that's kind of like your inventory for the event, right? So I mean,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
can
it would
just
depend
shop.
on location.
I'm not sure how
It
this
depend on the
works.
vendor.
Actually, wait, ESA they had a board game vendor.
They did. I remember that. No, they
It was
did.
just like a shelf, kind of like the size of like a cafeteria, like a concession stand kind of deal. Like I think 10 to 15 feet, and it had a bunch of games listed. So it's like I guess you could do that with capture cards, RGB mods, input displays, any other like like items that speedrunners would be interested in. Because I know not all of them would be
Video cables as
Oh yeah,
well.
games.
Like
Oh
even
no, I
just
guess EverDrives and like those flashcards.
EverDrives would work, yeah.
Yeah,
But
for
even
sure.
if like people are trying to get into like RGB, it's really tough to figure out what you need, and depending on where you live, it could be a pain to try to
Yeah, for
source
sure.
everything. If somebody
a lot
just
of
had like
the-
beginner kits available with like, here's a SCART cable for a SNES, here's a component box, here's like this, here you go. That's like your starter RGB kit for a Super Nintendo.
Also, I think like all of like the big RGB dudes are in Europe. I think so. Like in North America, it's a much less of a.
Well, the thing is, there
Right.
is Retro Console Accessories, who is an American cable maker, for example. I'm fairly certain, actually, looking at pictures of GDQ's tech setup, that they made all the custom cables that GDQ uses, because since they've moved their workflow over to RGB, they have custom SCART cables that have audio breakout in them, which is one of the reasons why the Tetris block took so long. But I'm not going to tangent off of that because I could be here for hours. Point being is that they have an American RGB cable maker already making cables for GDQ. I'm 95% certain that's already been happening. There's nothing stopping them from making like a week's worth of stock, showing up to GDQ with a box of it, and selling them to people on site.
Well, I think
And I'm
that's the
fairly
thing.
certain they would sell.
The thing is that it needs to be something like GDQ, where they're like, all right, there's a ton of people, we're gonna sell, we're gonna make money, you know. And it needs to be worth their time to show up. So the bigger the event, and if it's a convention, I mean, I feel like a convention has, like a connotation of having a lot of people coming, you know. Like if we want to get into like what a convention, like what we would want out of it, I think having like a keynote speaker, someone who is like been influential through the community, or someone like a whole bunch of different folks.
I mean,
is something that
that's
I think
more
would
of a
be needed.
business convention type thing than a.
I mean, not
hobby
necessarily. It would just be like a solo panel, essentially.
Yeah, but like if you look at MagFest or any regular like game like hobby based convention, there's tons of panels like that.
Yeah,
So-
but that's nothing's stopping somebody from being a keynote speaker at a convention. It's just not the norm of your current examples. But that's not just like there's a wide variety of conventions. There was a convention at my work for like construction stuff. There's a convention for literally everything.
I guess that would be
those
the
are
next thing
business
that
conventions.
a convention would need. Beyond vendors, you'd want to have panels.
Yeah.
And there's a lot you could have for speedrunning. Even
Mm.
even like beyond like the for things related to that with like you know like hardware setups and like video signals and all that, but actual like specific runs, like here's kind of like the stuff of what actually with this GDQ is having the Darkman teaching Strider
Yeah.
as a thing, like something like that you could probably have. I mean that's probably something I'll actually
I mean,
watch.
when I asked people what they would like for to be a panel at a marathon or a convention, like a speedrunning related panel, I had a couple of ideas that people gave to me. One of them was, for example, a task block panel where the Super Metroid would be opened up. There would be Lua scripting showing the hitboxes of all the characters and the projectiles and everything like that. It would show like background game information, and it would show the tasks, and it would be explaining tricks, and this happens because this value changes, and as you can see, these hitboxes don't match up, which is why you can go through here. Like, it would just be a breakdown of a task, which I think would be really interesting to see.
AGQ 2012 or 13, I remember there's a part where Tompa broke out his laptop and like opened up an emulator, like BizHawk or whatever emulator they're using at the time, and just like started demonstrating like what tool, like how a tool assisted run is made. And there was like 20 people just crowded around. They were like, "Holy shit, this is cool!" So like I think there's a lot of like things for panels that people would be interested in.
Oh yeah, there's
like anything
actually
for sure.
I think like there actually has been panels at certain events like ROM Scout. I know ROM Scout has been in a few. Just because I remember, I know there was other. I think Imagine Phil was with ROM Scout in one.
Yeah,
maybe Spike Vachita.
The panels that have been had though, they haven't really been. They've all been kind of like introductory to speedrunning. You know?
Yeah, like the TwitchCon panel.
That's the most recent.
It's catering to its audience, right? There's a lot of people who don't really know what speedrunning is. So it's basically talking from scratch, like, okay, this is a speedrun. This is how my regular day goes. And even then, I thought that panel was lacking, because for something like TwitchCon, it would be more of like, why does your stream work as a speedrunner in comparison to something else? But if we were to have a speedrunning panel catering to speedrunners, you can skip all of that, and you can go right into things like, for example, somebody explains their logic when it comes to being in a mystery tournament, or somebody high up who's really good at A Link to the Past randomizers goes over their thought process, like, okay, this is a seed, and I'm doing this because I feel that if I do with this choice, it'll end up with that. There's so much that we could do.
Yeah.
Even just like the thing that just got brought up, the Strider thing, you could break that into a panel. You could show the run. Okay, so this is how we're breaking apart.
Well, I feel like that's basically what it is. Spiritually, I feel like that's what it is.
Kind of, but there's not going to be really any audience participation, as far as I understand. There's just going to be the one guy, and we're going to be watching him teach somebody. It's not going to be kind of like a lecture or anything like that. It won't be a classroom oriented.
Well, it's like message oriented, right? It's like anyone can speedrun. Look, here's Strider. This person's going to learn it from scratch right here, and see, you could do it. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking more of like an educational perspective. Like if I'm going to, let's say, a physics convention, I'm going to listen to Stephen Hawking explain neutrinos and all this crap, and I'm going to actually learn something about it. And whatever I don't understand, I can ask him, because he knows what the hell he's talking about.
I guess, yeah, in that sense, like an introductory thing to explain like the general stuff that would apply to like any speed run on like the theories of optimization and shit. Which I would want OmniGamer for that, because he's back. I don't know if anyone remembers the SDA thread he made, but in like the book he's written, and it's like he's put a lot more thought into it than I have, or probably most people.
I mean, even that, he could run a Dragster panel, and I would assume that a whole room would fill up.
That would fill a fucking room, yeah.
Like, and I would honestly be front row with like a pencil and paper, and like, all right, how the hell did you figure this out? I want to know.
Yeah, that's true. See, that's a good point. You could definitely have panels about shit like that, like how to spot splicing and shit.
And I think, like right before we'd have a panel by Todd Rogers.
A natural gameplay panel.
Natural gameplay for Dragster.
I see it in the chat as well that you could have a panel on just how stream setup works. I would totally be down to run a panel to do that. I'm sure other people would be willing as well, like ESA crew, if they ever came down, they could run a tech panel, because there's more than one way to do tech for an event. And
yeah, I remember when I was first conceptualizing NASA, and I wanted hardware shop. I talked to Edenol and Oasis, and Oasis, he really fucking knows his shit.
Yeah.
He could just as an answer to an off the cuff question, he could write an essay telling you it's
the people behind ESA Tech really know their shit, and I'm glad that I'm kind of friends with them, and we can talk shit like this on a regular basis. Like, there's always discussion going on between me and them about tech stuff. It's fantastic, honestly.
Yeah, if you just want to run your own personal stream or whatever, if you could just name a budget and then be like, what would you buy for this? And they could probably give you a pretty decent answer, telling you it's here's what your budget could give you. I mean, you
So-
probably could too. You know, decent amount.
So, speedrunning conventions.
We're talking about panels. We're still on topic. Fuck you.
I know. So with panels, right? Like, so we're talking about like doing a tech panel, right? You can have multiple panels for tech. I agree. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity for panel. I think we had a lot of good stuff here. But what about stuff like challenges and tournaments? Like, what kind of stuff would you guys, chat and you guys, want to see from like
Yeah.
tournaments?
This
there.
was done at a GQ before. At HQ 2013, Flicky, he beforehand he got everyone to get say who was interested, get teams, and then they brought Future Cop LAPD on the PlayStation, and he's like, all right, like for over this week you can like try and like learn tricks and speedrunning, and at the end of the week we'll see like which team gets the fastest speedrun. And it basically just ended up like all the teams just like whoever was most interested, they just kind of like worked together to make the best speedrun. And so it didn't really get as like competitive as probably he originally intended, but it was still a lot of fun. My team member Foot Big Mike, I didn't do shit. He did everything, and I think he like ended up getting the best time. So I'll still take credit for that. But I think it's like that it, like it at least has been done once by Flicky, and sort of like mystery tournament to some degree is I guess the closest thing that's been done to that since, and it's like on stream at least. And I don't know, mystery tournament's a shit ton of fun, so it could certainly be a thing for attendees.
I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a mystery tournament. If you look at GDQ, there's always that group of people who pre-planned and they just they fill up the casual room and they blind race a game.
Oh shit, I remember, HQ 2013, they also had like, someone went to a game store and bought like 20 copies of, what's the superhero who's only good in water?
Aquaman.
Aquaman, yeah, it's like a GameCube game for
game
Aquaman.
Sucks. That game is
and everyone was like,
that
this game
is
Oh no.
that game.
Yeah,
is
so there's
bad.
like 20 copies of that, and they're like, guys, we're gonna race this shit.
I mean, I would totally be fine with that being like a convention tournament. Like, surprise tournament. Everybody signs up. Okay, your game that you're going to be racing is Aquaman on the GameCube. Have fun.
Yeah, I know there's like Twitch bots where it's like, what game will I speedrun? And it just names a random game, but it's like, you actually gotta fucking do it.
I'm seeing in
well,
chat,
I guess, another challenge, I did the F-Zero GX, like, beat Chapter 5 challenge. I guess that's another kind of thing. And I knew everyone who won at ESA, the first ESA got a cheeseburger, the second one, chicken nuggets. So
I think that I would really like to see more things like the F-Zero challenge. That's one of the things that I think would be really, really fun. Tier, I think it was, brought up the idea of having like booths, right? That you could go from booth to booth to booth and do challenges, right?
For different challenges.
You could actually like do that. You could just have like a wall of challenges set up in one of the rooms, right? And yeah, at the end of the week, whoever gets first gets some sort of prize, like right. Like nothing major, but like
even stuff that like if it teaches you how to do some like technique, like skip to this level, and it involves some out of bounds or whatever the fuck it is, and then just do that.
Reminds me, Flicky he actually had trophies. Just went to like a shop that had like pre-made trophies, and like they're all shitty, and they like he got the ones that like looked ugliest. They're pretty fucking funny of the statues. The guy, he had like one arm and his face was like melted or some shit. But to me, that's a pretty fucking good prize.
I mean, I'm looking in the chat as well, and somebody brought up bingo tournaments. Yeah, those would be pretty awesome. The one idea I have that I hope that I'll be able to do at some point when other tournaments aren't being planned by me is a team-based bingo tournament where it's a bingo game, but it's a bingo card, but it has multiple games. It's like maybe a team of 4 to 5. You get 2 consoles per team, all the games that are in the bingo, and as a team, you guys have to clear the bingo card. Like that would be pretty freaking
That
awesome,
could
I
be cool,
think.
depending on how like long
Like
it
let's
takes
say
you per
there's
game.
one of the things is like an SM64 get so and so star from this level, but another one is like I don't know, in what's a random game?
Blast
Hold on.
Core.
Yeah, in Blast Core, you need to beat and you need to reach this race, and you have to beat it with this, and you have to beat it and get the
Save
gold
a
medal.
certain number of scientists.
Yeah, like it just
Any
have
arbitrary goal, really. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
As long as there's multiple games and you have a team thing, and you get 2 TVs, two consoles, and there you go.
So
Oh
I
yeah,
had
actually,
an idea.
another thing. ESA,
Which-
before you get onto that, ESA
yeah.
2016, there was Beethoven, where Shrimp had the
Hell
whole
yeah.
time there was a SNES with a TV and Beethoven, and there was like 30. I think, yeah, if you go to the speedrun.com page for it, there's a bunch of like everyone's time on that Shrimp manually added to the site. There's like a huge like A3 paper, whatever, like the big one for like a flipboard. Everyone had their times on, and he like added every
Shit's
single
great.
one. And it was just a week of fucking Beethoven. That was good shit. If we do end up having like just like a few booths, one of them must be Beethoven. I'm saying that now. Beethoven must
I'm
be
gonna have to drop
a
a hard word
speedrun
on
challenge.
Yeah. So I agree with that. But my thing, right? I had this idea a long, long fucking time ago. I think I brought this up. This is like before last NASA. The idea of a speedrun scavenger hunt, where you would get 2 teams, and they would go head to head, and they would have different games. Like they would have you would have different tasks. So right, like you would have find this thing in this game, and then you do like kind of a relay, right? So you do your first thing in the one game, then you hand off to the next person, and then they hand off to the next person, and then they hand off to the next person. And at the end of it, whichever team did it fastest, and ideally here you're picking just kind of random obscure things, right? Not necessarily like do this common speedrun goal in this game. Once everyone's like done, whichever team wins that round, right? And then you do it like a round robin.
That basically means it's what the Super Mario Relay was, except what if it was good?
Right.
I think another challenge or race format that I think could be explored more is relays. I know that they can be kind of a cluster to organize, and you got to get multiple teams together who know the game. It's a real specific kind of community oriented thing, but I really enjoy watching those, or like just checking in and because I don't know, I just find them fascinating.
Well, that's
I guess the downside is it has to be for like a super popular series almost. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just not going to get the manpower.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, that kind of leads into what I just wanted to bring up. And it's like, I don't think we have a lack of vendors or panels or tournaments or ideas. But the one thing is that none of it actually means shit if we don't have the people support those ideas. So how do we get people to show up for this speedrun convention to actually be able to do these ideas?
Yeah, I feel like there's a catch-22 there where it's like a lot of people, you'll hear them talk on Twitter or whatever the fuck. It's like, I want the old GDQs that were smaller, but they also won't attend smaller events. They'll only they only care about the GDQ thing, and they just want that to go to a smaller scale thing rather than attend like Midwest Speed Fest or any of the.
There was actually a Twitter thread about it, and Edenal actually mentioned it. I'm not going to call the person that he replied to out for it, but they were like, "Oh, I support the smaller events," and I don't think I've ever seen that person at a smaller event beyond the GDQ. So it's like,
I know
in what
exactly
capacity are you actually supporting smaller events?
So I will call that person out. I don't care. That was Bubbles. So what was funny about that was that yeah. So hear me out. Hear this one.
He's a cool dude.
I know, right?
No,
right,
he
right,
is a cool dude.
So he said some shit, and then Edenal called him out, and he was like, "Oh no, I do support these things, but someone needs to do something different, not just the same old stuff over and over." So I tweeted at him, and I was like, "Hey," I responded to that tweet exchange between him and Edenal, and was like, "Hey, I'm NASA staff. I'm a mod in your chat. You know me. What the fuck do you think that NASA should do then? If you're gonna sit here and say that people need to do this different shit, then what's your opinion of what you want, right?" And he never responded. He just fucking didn't even bother.
Well, I guess at a
So-
conceptual level, what is different? Like, it's still like just speed run. Like, what did he mean? Is he talking?
Do I need to go find the tweet?
Oh boy.
Is this
No,
is
because
that
I
what we're
remember
getting
it.
into?
I remember it. I'm
Yeah.
not like doubting you here. I'm
I
just
think
like,
I think there's two parts to it. One, I feel like there is a sentiment of kind of like, well, if games done quick doesn't do it, then it doesn't happen. Like I feel like there's a
Yeah.
lot
That
of
is
people
that
who
is
fall into that
100% the
boat.
mentality of 90% of our speedrun and the rest, and 90% of current GDQ viewership right now.
And I think the second part to it is that I think a lot of speedruns are like, they don't brand themselves as a convention. They don't have sort of the stuff that we've been talking about with the panels and the tournaments. I think those two specifically are lacking in a live marathon format. Like that is what could be taken differently, because Games Done Quick doesn't do that kind of thing. And I mentioned earlier that like a live speed gaming tournament, taking the speed gaming format live, seems like an inevitability with how popular that it's getting. So like I feel like that's where it could branch out, but like no one's really saying like, hey, we are this. And they're like a person who's like reputable. There's someone who's like, within Twitch that has like, the good promotion, or like they could, get a prize pool to get whatever it is that could draw people in. There's nothing like that quite yet right now.
yeah, because I know there was a mystery tournament thing at AGQ 2016, I think, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 16 or 17.
Yeah, it was recent.
Yeah.
It was they were like kept typing. It's like join mystery tournament X10, and it's like it was their biggest response, because it's like basically GDQ, for better or worse, does have like a monopoly on the Twitch, or like basically the non speedrun fan audience. Like,
yeah.
to a lot of people, when they think speedrun, it's like, oh, you mean the GDQs thing? They don't. It's like twice a year there speedruns exist, and
Seeing all
elsewhere
the
it
tweets.
doesn't.
It's speedrun time. Like,
Yeah.
And yeah,
only
and
right now.
for like the casual viewer, that's like that's what it is.
It's probably true.
So
yeah, for sure.
if for like mystery tournament, it's like that's their way of legitimizing the event, is getting in on a GDQ, and then they'll get like a bunch more people. And I feel like like at this point, if you want to legitimize something, you just like need to get it on a GDQ, because that's like, it's the face of speedrunning. It's the head honcho.
Yeah, it's
whether
the
they
reason
like
why
it or
they're
not.
emulated so much. Like,
Yeah.
for sure. Even their layouts are just taken almost directly sometimes.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's open source.
Yeah.
The guy who made them lane, I played TF2 with him.
No, they're based.
couple
It's just
times.
they're
was
the
weird.
example so much that even
The thing is,
Even
when
the
you
Yeah.
when you
look the
grab
same.
those layouts, it specifically says we're sharing this as a base so that you can build something off of it yourself. It's not meant to be taken and just used for face value. But the problem is with those layouts is that people grab them, they'll just quickly shift the colors in Photoshop or whatever from blue to whatever color they feel like it. They replace the GDQ logo with their own, and they call it a day, and that's their layout. And it's like, did you actually do what they asked? Did you build something new upon it, or did you just decide to use it because it was already made there for you? But that's kind of getting off of the convention topic.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I think really for a new event to be taken seriously is that it has to have, and I'll get more into the specifics of what I mean, and kind of like this utopian idea of what a new convention, like organization or event, would be. But I think it really just, it needs to have support from some key folks. Like if it was a tournament, like having Feasel be into it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like he would need to be down with it. He's the face of that and runs that. Or having support from Sinister, like it seems like RTA in Japan had kind of direct Twitch support in that way, and that's great, to grow that community. Like if a convention had that same kind of support, like you would have some legitimacy there almost instantly, right?
And I guess, yeah, one issue there, I think part of the reason why like they're worried, like NASA wasn't like instant partner like all other marathons, because like having the charity, it is an easy draw of like there's a reason for it. We can like put it on paper and be like, all right, this isn't a simple thing to have. But if it's not having a charity, then it's like it's something they haven't really like. It hasn't been done that much for like on-site events, so they're probably like a little like we don't know if this is going to make us a lot of money, basically.
Statistically, viewership for non-charity events is much lower than events with a charity, because the charity is also a pull for people. Oh, what's going on? Oh, okay, a couple bucks. We'll throw that there. I mean,
Yeah.
even taking RTA in Japan into the equation, the English restream, for all things considering, was like a blip on the speed gaming stats. It was maybe 300, 400, 500 people max, maybe 600 pushing it. I mean, that's kind of low, considering speed gaming will hit 2-3K on a Link to the Past randomizer on any given day. So relatively speaking, it did not do quote unquote well for them. But if people watching and everybody else, super happy with the event. It was great, just pure speed runs. There was good commentary all around. I'm going to shill myself because I commentated some of those runs, but it was good. People
Fantastic
really
commentary.
enjoyed the fact that it was just speed runs, and you got to view this whole community that really people don't know about, and that's Japanese speedrunners. But viewership wise, it kind of didn't do all that well, everything considering.
Not having like a simple quantifiable number like as a goal, it kind of makes it a lot like as a viewer, it's like hard, or it's just like if your goal with an event like NASA, it's just like I just want to have like hang out with friends, have a good time. It's much harder to say it's like, oh, was an event a success or not? Where it's like I don't know, I had fun, it's a success to me.
Yeah, it's hard to measure the metric there. Yeah.
But with like charities, there's like it's a very simple metric.
Yeah,
It's
money
quantifiable.
raised.
I would
So-
say success would be based on the runs and how the runs went, how much you didn't suffer from technical issues, because that's a big problem that GDQ has. So if NASA can
Literally right now, apparently, they're having technical issues as we speak, or were speaking earlier.
I think if that's something to measure success on, I would say that would be one for a marathon that doesn't have a charity.
Yeah.
So what's the like, how do you define success for a marathon, or for not a marathon, for a convention like
how would you take it seriously?
like MagFest or something like that, right? Like or Otakon or Anime North or conventions like that. Like what makes them successful?
Anything that doesn't bring them into debt is instantly the start of a success, right? As long as you're not in the red.
Like, was it profitable?
I mean, there's financial success, and then there's public success with, if I go to a convention and I enjoy my time there with the vendors, the panels, the other con goers, then to me that's a success on a personal level. If the con, the organization that's hosting the con makes money off the con, then to them that's success. It doesn't matter if they're, I mean, they probably do care that their congoers actually have a good time, but as long as they meet the bottom line, that's good. They can have another con and do rinse repeat the same effect. For GDQ, it's more so less like, okay, well, the run didn't go well, but how did our donations go during that run? That's how they measure a game's success during the GDQ. They look at a game and say, okay, did this game bring in a lot of donations? Does this game have a lot of donation goal or incentives? Like, can you change the file name? Can you change like character, multiple endings?
Yeah, is it me? Yeah.
There was literally a game. What was it? The first SGQ I went to, there was the bid war with Kirby's Avalanche and Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. The only reason it was even considered was the fact that they figured that people would be really into the bid war for picking which game would be played, and it didn't actually end up raising all that much money. So probably for them that was considered a flop, because it just didn't raise as much money as they were expecting.
I guess one sort of quantitative metric to fun would be the number of repeat attendees. Like if they're like, I had fun the first time, I'll come back another time. Like that would be a metric
because
for like.
That has a lot to do with reputation as well. If people continue to come back to your event, that means they're doing something right.
Because it's like Dark Pro saying in chat. It's like it's not fun. You can't really qualitatively, or no, quantify it that well. But I think like repeat attendees is the best thing I can think of at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think.
Which I think we did pretty good. 20. A lot of people showed up like you didn't. A lot of them were like, I wish I could have. Shit happened.
Wait, how many people showed up that were at NASA one?
Do
we know?
For
How
which
many
one?
many
people
carryover
attended?
attendees there were from
Oh,
NASA 1
carryover?
and 2?
At least 30 something.
I'd say more
Right,
than
which
that.
is impressive because I think
Yeah.
there's probably more than that. And I think that that's impressive because of the fact that the event was in America, in Chicago, the first time around.
Yeah, like strictly speaking, like Chicago and Toronto aren't really that far apart. It's like a 2 hour
I mean, they're
drive,
not
I think.
that far, but like,
But yeah,
still.
like a lot of Americans are like,
It's
I'm
in a
not getting
different country.
passport. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
Well,
you
and-
say this, but a lot of the viewership and everything, for example, even on our own channel, most traffic is from America. You look at the YouTube, if you look at the website, if you look at everything else, 70, 80, 90%, depending on the stat for which
Well, I guess
server,
it just makes
it's
sense
all
considering
from
America does have like 10 times the population Canada does.
I mean, to add to that as well, I think GDQ is measured not so much in in-person attendance because they have a cap. If they wanted to
Yeah.
make more money, of course, with like at door sales, they would increase the cap, but they would also
Well,
have to
Get a different venue.
Yeah, different
What's
Yeah.
interesting about that is that technically NASA has a cap.
Sure.
Because of the fire code.
Yeah, it has a soft cap, but I don't
Yeah.
think we're anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Not
No.
yet, but the thing is that that's true of any event like that. Otakon, the reason that Otakon is moving from Baltimore to DC is because they're gonna tear down the Baltimore Convention Center and build a bigger one. 'Cause it's too fucking small for Otakon. So they're going to the DC Convention Center because they're literally they can't like grow at all
Mhm.
because there's too many people. Just due to fire code. So, that's the kind of thing that GDQ's running into right now, where they're capped because of the fire code. That's why. Like, I don't think that they wouldn't take more attendees.
Yeah, for
if,
sure.
They had the space, and I
I'm
think
sure
that
they
they're
want
probably
more.
going to.
I'm sure they want more,
move.
but they're just
Yeah.
Apparently, they're looking into a new venue for AGDQ after this event, from what I remember reading. So they're definitely looking into expanding, especially since they sell out within 24 hours. You need to expand at that point.
I
Yeah.
almost bought a pass for HDDQ since I'm only an hour and a half away, but then I decided not to.
Like, if I could
I'm just
afford it,
gonna-
I'd go.
I mean, for me, that is kind of part of the issue is that, like, I'd have to take a week off work. I'd have to drive there every day if I wanted to not pay for a hotel. Like, and that's part of the problem with GDQ is that, like, one of the things that makes me not want to go is kind of the fact that, like, they haven't embraced being a convention at all. So, like, there's not enough stuff outside of the actual stream going on. Like, it's all just, like, people hanging out. There's no events or anything.
Argue against that, but we're running out of time, so I'm going to wait until after the small intermission.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll continue on that point. It's a good point to bring.
Yeah, so
I don't get vacation days.
We'll take the small intermission right now, just about a minute, while we get the Zoom back up. So we will be right back, folks.
Eventually, we'd have like everyone has a beer, and we just come out of the intermission.
Hey.
We're all just like mid swig.
Nice to say that live. We are back. Welcome back, everybody.
Damn, you
great.
spoiled it.
I love
Now
Nick
we
Laird.
can't do it.
So just for everyone joining us, we're back. We're talking about how do you define success for a convention, and whatever that would mean.
Well,
Yep.
So one of the things that we were talking about, because we were talking about money and stuff like that, like, what are people willing to pay to attend AGDQ? Like, what for a week-long event, right? So, spoilers,
Well-
and I already discussed this, Lurk, you couldn't hear us, but spoilers, NASA, with no pre-NASA, just like the baseline of what NASA's going to cost if we only cover the basics, like the hotel, badges, stuff like that, right? If we only cover the basics and we assume we're going to have 80 attendees, which isn't that much more than last year, it's $70 United States per person.
I mean,
like
I can
70
answer your
USD.
previous question because you asked how much would people be willing to pay for AGDQ. Apparently, the answer was 65 USD For
And that's
people
like
after November
that's
8th,
still
apparently it
bad.
was 75 USD, and for people
Right.
after November 29th, it was apparently 85 USD.
So what you're saying is it was 65 because no one
It
got.
sold. No, to be fair,
Yeah.
there were people who sold it after the fact and stragglers who came in like whenever they saw that there was an opening. But for probably 95% of all people, that was 65 USD.
They
I
could
just wanna-
honestly probably charge over $100, and people would still.
Yeah, I
fill
just
it
want
out.
to add, like, the fact that they're charging $65 for an event that rarely changes, if not adds like minuscule additional things like new arcade cabinets, maybe runs that are fresh, or maybe the minor change to a room. But the event venue is still the same. Everything is still the same, and you're still paying the same price. But they raised it a
Yeah.
little bit
It
more.
needs to be noted though that they get like sponsor. That's not their sole source of like
Yeah.
monetary income or
Yeah,
whatever.
that is a
course.
subsidized
Charity
registration
sales
cost.
stuff.
Absolutely.
So basically, what I'm asking is, we're gonna use NASA as the perfect example because it doesn't have the charity, it doesn't have the exposure thing. It is the closest thing I think right now to a speedrunning convention because it's the only big speedrunning meetup, relatively speaking, in the grand scheme of things, that's in person and that like is solely focused on a hobby, right? It's the closest thing we have at this point to the definition based on what we've gotten to this far, right?
Beyond RTA in Japan.
Yeah. Do you think $70 American is worth a week-long event like that?
If you told me a weekend, I would say no.
Yeah.
I haven't been to any like basically the only meetups that I've been to are like GDQ, NASA, ESA. Like, what does Comic Con and all that shit cost? Because I have no idea.
Well, I
It
mean,
varies widely.
let's look up something. So I pulled up the price of Anime North, which is a very large, and it's one of the largest anime conventions in North America. I think it was actually top in 1 year. It's probably maybe sitting, it's sitting in the top 5 absolutely at this point. And their ticket price for the weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, was $65. And that was in both apparently Canadian and American. So I guess whatever country you were buying from, you paid in that currency. Basically shilling like Steam. I guess that's where they got it. But in any case, it's $65, let's say American, for that weekend. And people go because that place is always
Yeah.
packed.
I
I went there
believe,
1 year. My brother goes every other time. If you look at it, like the pictures that he shows me, it is always absolutely packed. There's a line that wraps around the building generally to get into the
Yeah.
convention center.
Well, they get a really, really great rate on their convention center rental because of the fact that they literally fill the convention center.
Yeah.
And that's how Otakon gets away with such low prices as well. So like so assuming there are challenge booths and things to do, well, there's a decent reason why all of this is being discussed because this is all we're all staff members for NASA except Laz here.
He's a podcast staff member.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just here to be filler, and I
You
also
could treat it like a runner during their run is staff. It's like during the podcast, Laz is staff.
Yeah.
Well, I think with a solid like
Ooh, Quo just gave a good drop, and apparently
Scared
DreamHack
me.
Montreal was 75 Canadian plus tax
Yeah.
weekend, to put into
That's-
perspective.
That's actually a good point, yeah. For a weekend.
I think a
For a
good
week.
metric for success though is just like how many opportunities did you provide for the attendee?
Mm.
Like how many days, how many
Yeah.
what stuff is there, and I think
was every day worth it.
yeah, it
for
was
the-
every
the
day.
price.
Yeah, whatever the price is.
If
So
there
you're
was,
gonna
like,
pay
a
$100,
where all the consoles were dead and the TVs were like crap and nobody had the cables to run something, that's a wasted day. That's already a failure for that day. Nobody was able to do anything, for example.
I guess that'd be another difference for a convention to like what GDQs or any other event is, where it's like each day has its own specific themes or like like events going on, right?
yeah.
Whereas basically for like every speedrun meetup or event, you have like the same room set up, and it's just like whatever people wanted to do.
I mean, what you could do is
Mhm.
you could have a day dedicated to either a genre of speed games or like have a day where it's all just fighting games for like people who are like, oh man, on the schedule it says Tuesday is going to be fighting games for all the tournaments. I should
I guess
be
yeah.
there.
The tournaments they do have bookings. I would guess kind of close-ish ballpark.
I mean, you could do it with panels. You could do it with
Yeah.
with learning. You could do it with. I'm trying to think what else would be a good idea.
Vendors.
Yeah.
I guess vendors.
Even just like outside stuff from speedrunning, like
Yeah.
roller coasters. That seems to be a good NASA
Being,
thing.
yeah,
being
yeah,
in
for
close
sure.
proximity, be able to
Yeah.
make it as a pseudo vacation, which
Very
a lot of
much.
people already do when they go to ESA
No,
and
that's
GDQ.
a really good point. There's only like so many events that you can go to unless you just have the money and the free time to just like go to everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That reminds me that the AGDQ venue they've been using was I could AGDQ 2015 was like the last one because it's like food options were crap. Anything there's nothing within like 40 minutes of like walking. Like the event itself was fun, but there was
I have a question. How far is this year's hotel from Wonderland, Dan?
We'll get back
Hour.
to that.
An hour. Oh, okay.
We'll get back to this as Lurk
I'm
said.
just
And that's
curious.
back
No.
to
I was just
estimates
curious
and-
since it was brought up. Roller coasters were brought up. I wanted to know.
Trying to be all subtle with your hints as to what the announcement is.
I guess,
here,
yeah.
You fuck.
just to let you all to give y'all some info. I really wanted to have Cleveland be a place, even though it's like bumfuck nowhere, I guess, for a lot of Americans. It has
It
Cedar
is.
Point nearby, and Cedar Point, it's got a lot of really good roller coasters. I've been there. I was there like 17 years ago, whatever the fuck. But it's like that. I really want to go to Cedar Point again.
So, now we were talking about the difference between a convention and a marathon. I think that one of the biggest differentiators for us right now is that I just gave everyone here the price of us breaking even, right? A convention would have given you an $80 price point or something like that, right? Because they would be like, "Hey, look, we wanna make a little bit of profit so that we can funnel the money into doing new shit."
Well,
right?
the thing is with a convention as well is you have staff members who have to be paid.
Yeah, exactly.
There's with a convention, there's people to handle tickets for people coming in. There's people handling logistics in the background. There's people cleaning up.
For a
the
large scale
security.
convention, yeah.
There's everything,
Yep.
and they have to also be able to pay for those. I'm not getting paid for NASA. I fucking wish I was, but I'm not.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are. So
It's very much a hot.
as far as I
tactic for
understand,
us.
Gloria might be doing some shady shit with that PayPal account of his.
Well, I mean, you guys, like we had the hotel. You guys know what the hotel cost.
Yeah.
I think with last NASA, it was like 72 was the number of that would break an even, and 74 is what we had. So like I made $100.
We just broke even on
Yeah.
last NASA.
And that's like, I had to spend way more on that for like hotel or flights, so I didn't really make money.
Yeah, in fact, technically speaking, if we
Especially,
break
after the first
even,
NASA,
yeah,
I was already in the bucket.
yeah,
Same
we were
here.
all pretty
Yeah.
in there with the first NASA, Naglaria especially. The thing is though is right, like when you even just think about it from that standpoint, right? If we go out and we do $70 and we cover the costs and we break even, that's the marathon breaks even. It happening breaks even, but like none of the people who like work for the marathon break even. We all actually technically
Yeah,
lose
we
money
lose
because
money.
we pay
Yeah, we're not
just like
working.
everyone else. Yeah. We pay just
Or
like everyone
repair.
else for hotel and for attendance and everything else.
And
Food.
time or just wear
Yeah.
and equipment. Yeah.
Right. So
We take a
you
week
know,
off of work to be able to pull an event off like this, right? So that's a week that you're not working and generating revenue for yourself. You're instead
Right.
spending it so other people can have enjoyment.
So
I mean, you have fun too, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it, right?
No,
absolutely.
absolutely.
The way-
But
the
that's
way you
not what I'm
phrased that
trying to
was-
do.
Boy.
You're
The way
working
you
for
phrased
free,
that
right?
was-
Is what I'm trying to
you
say.
phrased
You're
that
not.
really badly. Yeah.
Does
You're
it for free.
trading. You're trading the fact, like, for
It's a
example, if
selfless
I'm not
act.
working, I need to somehow still pay for the hotel. I still need to pay for everything else, and I'm spending my time to be able to do an event. It's fun for me, but the point is that, like Dark Fox is saying, we're losing out on, technically speaking, on it, right? Because we're not getting paid for our efforts. Which, in comparison to GDQ, they do get paid for their efforts. Actually, they're staff and they get compensated for the fact that they're helping run this event. don't know how much they go compensated. I don't care. The fact is that they're not working for free. Even if it was for $1 a day, they're getting compensated in some portion, right?
Yeah, they're getting free food. I'm sure they're getting free hotel. Like, I'm sure that like plenty of
There
GDQ
is
people
some
get
form
free
of
hotel.
compensation going on there that means that they're not coming
I
off
mean,
at a complete loss
I
personally.
say that based on the fact that I know a bunch of people who volunteer for Otakon and MagFest. Like, I know I keep bringing them up, but those are our giant local conventions. And I know a bunch of people who volunteer there, and one of my friends like volunteers for Otakon every year. He's done it for the past like 10 years. And he doesn't pay for anything at all, except what he wants to buy from the vendors. He doesn't pay for food. He doesn't pay for hotel. He doesn't pay for booze even. Like they just like
Damn.
it's they take care of his ass, right? Because he volunteers for this shit. He's a volunteer. The people who organize that shit, that's their job. That is actually their job. Like, they make probably 60 grand a year to organize an anime convention. And it that's when you're talking on a scale of like, you're selling out the Baltimore Convention Center, 32,000 attendees. That's
Imagine,
pretty
like,
fucking crazy.
If Justin Trudeau actually like followed up on his promises, then like NASA 2020, you could have a hotel where it's like, we get free weed. Like,
Oh boy.
they provide that shit.
Well,
But,
it's interesting that talking about it
it.
from like that like price point, like some of these newer events where they're like talking about flying out people to the event, like they get invited and then they get paid for their flights, something like Oceanside,
Yeah.
where it's like that financial loss is like lessened because it's like, oh well, no, we'll pay for the majority of, because that's what's the majority cost of attending an event. Like the ticket price, that's kind of one thing.
The ticket
but-
prices have dropped in the bucket. It's your
It's-
travel and hotel
right.
that costs money.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So it's interesting that some events are going like the opposite way. We're like, because NASA, we do it transparently. We're just like, this is how much it costs. We're gonna break
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a
I
conference
just told you.
space.
right.
Yeah, conference space and then badges divided by the number of attendees, and like
Right.
that's our
Yeah.
ticket price.
Whereas the other
Right.
way is like, you have from a sponsor, from you're doing work, you saving up from something, you have money, and you're paying for all of these other people to just fly out.
It's
and
just
then
the cost
all-
of business.
Yeah, it's just a different like avenue, like different angle. At
Yeah.
getting
Yeah, I
the event in.
remember asking, or someone else asking in the old SDIRC of like, it theoretically it probably would be worth it to like pay PewDiePie to come play like Amnesia: The Dark Descent in a speed run for like 5
Mhm.
hours, and it's like yeah, it would be a shit speed run, but it's like that would make
Yep.
money.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it would make a lot.
Absolutely.
So I guess here's another good question, because we haven't actually asked chat this question at all. Do you guys want a speedrunning convention? Is that something that you actually would be interested in any way? Like, or is this just a fun conversation? Like, would people
Yeah, like-
actually want to go? Would you fly somewhere to attend a week-long speedrunning convention, or a weekend
Panel-
long even?
Yeah, it'd
I
have
want to
vendors,
answer for chat, and I want to
panels.
say that they do. They're just technically, because it's really stupid the fact that GDQ has to continue to be brought up as an example, but that's just the way that it is right now, it being the largest event. People go to GDQ for literally the reasons that people would go to a convention. There's things to do there, there's reasons to hang out with your friends, and there's something of entertainment going there. There's things around it.
Well,
Fuck up those crazy guys. I'm
no,
not
there's-
speaking for
there's
you,
not.
I think,
but the elements that people would also find in a convention are found in GDQ, especially if you were to go off the people are like, oh, GDQ is a convention, all things considered, it's a convention. People want to go to that, so I think if there was a flat out speedrunning convention, people would absolutely want to go.
and I
but
think
that's-
what
Go ahead.
What I just want to actually respond to something that just popped up in chat. What do you think it would cost to attend a speedrunning convention? I just want to, like, because an Asper said I would, but I don't think I can afford everything. Like, not
Are
to
any
change
other
the topic. I don't want to
conventions-
actually change the topic, but like, for me to go to NASA, for example, I'm estimating, and I'm counting NASA as my vacation, even though I'm going to be working the whole time. That's my vacation this year. I'm going to be spending $600 to $800 probably, is my estimation for the entire event.
Well, I think the question is kind of it's kind of hard for I think someone to answer because there's so many
Yeah.
like variables involved.
Right,
Yeah,
where
Like,
do you
where
live?
is it?
Like,
Yep.
When is it? Like these are you can't just kind of like attend a convention.
Yeah,
if
even
it's
besides, like, the
available,
even besides like the logistics, also like it's still that we have like we're talking about like what is a convention or a speedrun convention. Like so far we've gotten panels, vendors, challenges with or slash tournaments. Anything else?
Just general opportunities to showcase
Yeah.
runs.
Yeah.
Showcasing.
Networking should
Networking. Okay, yeah,
I think
networking.
I think a convention could also we haven't really mentioned it, but it could have a marathon within it. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
exclude
Yeah.
it
Yes,
necessarily.
absolutely.
So that's also another pull.
You could also, you could very well have a marathon happening on site during the convention as like hey, this is the online element, and then you could also stream some of the panels or tournaments.
I mean, that's kind of what BlizzCon did. They had crap on site, but they also had streamed elements for the viewers at home that
Right.
were showing shit off to you.
So and another idea for that might be even doing something like a showcase stream instead of a marathon, where there's not a completely set schedule all week, but you have a speedrunning convention happening with shit tons of speedrunners at it. So you just put up a thing out in the hall, like, hey, submit a game up here and write your Twitter thing down, and if we pick your game, we'll tweet at you, and you can come in and do your run on the showcase stream.
I feel like that's very similar to rather than having a schedule, you're just having an impromptu schedule.
Kind of,
like,
yeah.
it's
But you're showcasing random speedruns instead of doing like a.
Because I feel like it's spiritually the same. It's just less like pre-effort is put in. I'm not sure.
Right. I think it would be more casual. That's
I mean,
what I think.
the
I
thing
think you
with
would
that
see
is
people
also
side games and shit.
a thing of quality control is lacking
Yeah.
if you were to do something like that. If you're trying to be a
Potentially.
convention, the point is to showcase things, and you don't want a crappy run with
So do
crappy
you think-
commentary.
I guess
and
you could have
crappy
like
gameplay.
you could have like your set amount of like here's like our scheduled like people that we like AKC who did a run of F-Zero GX
Right.
at that he's been at NASA could be like all right here's him running GX, and then we'd have other people and it'd be like all right we're gonna let like some guy who just showed up he can play fucking I don't know Smash Bros Melee to hit the targets really fast and be like all right let's see it. Presumably it's like I don't know like fuzziness or someone who
Right.
can actually do it, but you could have like a dedicated like here's 2 hours for just
But I mean,
scheduled
to argue with
stuff.
that as well, a large proponent of people, the success of a marathon run also has a lot to do with the couch, not necessarily the runner itself. There's a lot of
Yeah.
runs that are essentially train wrecks, all things considering, gameplay wise and everything else. But it's the commentary and the couch that made that run successful. So when you're doing it random as well, unless you have things pre-picked out, like, oh, if this person goes, this is going to be their couch and blah, blah, blah. But then we're back to the thing where you're making a schedule, essentially. You're
Yeah.
pre-plicking everything because you need that quality control to
So
go
I
on.
think we've arrived at this point where it just remains simpler to just leave it being. You could have a
Yeah.
marathon at your speedrun convention.
You can have a marathon at your speedrunning event, exactly.
And
that's kind of hard. It's like a lot of the culture, marathon culture. It's not necessarily that GDQ was shaped into a way. It's like they themselves are trying to make like a good product, and some of the ideas are going to be good ideas, some are bad. So I feel like that's just like
I mean,
how it
they're
is.
trying that out exactly with
Yeah.
this year. There's a lack of quote-unquote staple runs that are happening, and they're being replaced with other things. Will it work out? It's to be determined.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's just a fact. So, lots of people who aren't really into speedrunning, but who like speedrunning, right? The kinds of people that are the difference maker for GDQ when it comes to their viewership numbers between ESA and NASA and all the other events, RPG Limit Break, whatever other event you want to pick, no one even vaguely touches GDQ's viewership numbers. It's like sad, actually, right? And
Like
that's
part of Twitch
all
culture, yeah.
down to, right, yeah. So you're getting these people who they are down to watch Super Metroid every single year, Mario 64 every single year, Ocarina of Time every single year. They're okay with seeing
Yeah,
like
they
just
only see
different
it twice
categories
a
of the
year.
exact, right, exactly. They see it once or twice a year, and that's it, right? So it's not a big deal for them at all, and they're down. People, like a lot of people who watch speedruns in that way, they're doing it because they want to experience that nostalgia hit from seeing Super Metroid, but they don't want to devote the time to watch a Let's Play of Super Metroid.
I
Is
know
how
that's
I feel about it.
Yeah, one way they choose games, if it's like if this game was in the last GDQ, they like probably it's like, all right, we'll give it a break, and it's like that makes sense from like the attendeer runner perspective, but it's like, I think for like if you're like 100% charity focused, we're like, yeah, we're only going to choose the ones with like which have statistically proven to be the highest money makers.
Right.
So here's the thing about this, though.
If
If
you
it
want to
was
go like hardcore
a
with it.
marathon for a speedrunning convention, you actually don't care about the
Right.
casual viewership. You are catering to the people who are specifically showing up to your event because you want it. It's a convention of speedrunners, not casual
Exactly.
viewers. There could be enthusiasts, obviously, as well. But if they're enthusiasts, they have the same problem. They see these runs constantly because they watch more than just GDQ twice a year. They watch other events that happen as well. So regular casuals are not a problem anymore. So that means you can do more things. You can be more experimental with your runs that you're going to have because you don't care about the casuals. You care about the people who are going to show up at your events.
Right. So that means, your marathon, instead of being, like you say, aimed at the casuals and more aimed at people at the event, you have, when you put out submissions, you're like, submit stuff that, like, you know that your friends in the speedrun community would actually want to watch, right? Like the three game race that you guys did at DreamHack, right?
That was great.
That's cool as shit, right? And it drew a live audience, right? Like, because people wanted to see that because they hadn't seen something like that before, and it was going to be like cool, and it had a lot of excitement behind it from people who actually speedrun.
Yeah.
So, you really,
I guess,
you really kind of want things that are geared towards speedrunners for your speedrunning convention, shockingly.
Yeah.
And now my question then is like, if you want a convention that's geared towards speedrunners, is like, what, like, I guess maybe GDQ as an example is like, what percentage are like people who like have a speedrun.com account and have runs versus like just like fans, enthusiasts, or whatever? It's like, how large is the actual like speedrunning
That's hard to
group?
judge. We need
And I don't know if that number is like exists.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, the thing is, like I mentioned earlier, though, is as long as you're also catering to the enthusiast, which necessarily doesn't mean that they have to do runs. They're just in the community itself.
Right.
That's still considered somebody who would be willing to attend. Because I'm sure that there's people in different speedrun communities who don't actually run. Maybe all they do is test something out or just talk or just hang out with people. They're good that was kind of pointing towards that.
Right.
Or even myself, like I don't speedrun all that often. I'll do a run once in a blue moon. My thing is I'm more in the background. I'm helping plan events and tournaments, everything like that.
There's a need, for both, though, like if you're gonna have, as an event gets bigger, and if you want to have a draw in for, say, like sponsorships or some sort of support from like more official platform support and stuff like that, you kind of need that viewership, even if your event isn't necessarily catering to them, if that makes sense. Like you kind of need to have a good level of both.
Right.
I don't think
that's a hard line, though.
Like one does not.
It is a hard line, yeah. Go Niglaria.
Which is like, I know it's like some people that joke of like, like NASA, we want it to be the GDQ killer, and it's like, fucking no.
Yeah.
I don't want that. like each, I think like GDQ, like it serves its own purpose and it does it like pretty well.
Mhm.
They achieve their
What is
goals, and
the
I want
actual
NASA to be.
gain of killing GDQ?
Here's the thing.
Nothing.
Here's
Absolutely
actually
nothing.
the thing, right? If we're gonna get into this, here's the thing, right? Most people just don't understand what the point of NASA is, right? The actual point of NASA, really, when you boil it down, not having a charity and not being just another GDQ or ESA or RPG Limit Break, is that we didn't want to have to worry about anyone doing whatever they wanted to do as long as it was kosher. Like as long as it's within the
As long
rules
as we
of
don't get banned from
acceptable
Twitch.
society, right? As long as you don't get banned from
Yeah, and as
Twitch.
long as it's fun.
That's
People should be
basically our
allowed to
only
have
rule, is
fun,
don't get us
hang
banned
out with
from
their
Twitch.
friends, have a good time, and it has nothing to do with the charity. It has nothing to do with GDQ. I have donated to GDQ plenty of times before. I have no problem with GDQ. I've been to GDQ. Everyone here has been to GDQ. Yeah, he's wearing a GDQ shirt. I met Laz at a GDQ 15 and Naglaria. Like,
yeah, and Dark and Lineru, your brother Lineru, you both volunteered, or was it just Lineru?
Lineru was the one who he volunteered and helped with tech at a GDQ.
right.
So I mean, I've commentated at GDQs. You can find me if
Yeah.
you look at some runs.
So,
So,
it's
like-
safe to say everyone here doesn't hate GDQ. We all take part and we love it,
Yeah.
but NASA feels a completely different niche
Yeah.
that
And-
isn't filled
Right.
anywhere else.
There's also the point of like, if you like something, you're willing to talk about its flaws because you want those flaws to be improved. Like if I'm a fan of a product and it's not working properly, I understand that it's not working properly and I want it fixed because I like this product. So
in my case specifically, yeah, I want to try and I'd like GDQ to be as good as it can be, but a lot of what I say is just bullshit that I do for fun. I haven't really done much of the anti-GDQ rants in I don't know, like a couple of years, but most of it was just because I like shit posting. I guess there's a part of me that just likes saying dumb shit.
Well, it's funny.
And now
it can be fun to be.
Now my Twitter's it's all about fucking stupid Trump tweets. So
Yeah, pretending
I
that
haven't
you're
really-
an
Yeah.
extreme alt-righter, even though you're like not at all.
I mean,
no.
the point that I was trying to bring up is just the fact that even though somebody says they dislike something about anything, it doesn't necessarily mean that they hate that. It means that they recognize that there's something they dislike about it and they would like that to be improved, so that way they can like it even more.
Oh yeah, something like WQ. It's like an event that's like literally just race focused. Like if it was a
Yeah.
Speedruns live event where it's like every single thing is a race. Like you could have like everything's one-on-one, like left versus right in the whole event. It's like that could be cool.
Yeah.
Because I knew they usually have like a balance, but
So we've already kind of posted stuff about this in the forums, I think, or at least in the Discord for sure. We're looking at just testing the waters on what even a speedrunning panel would look like in a high quality sense at NASA. Next NASA, we're looking at maybe doing some sort of like side events, like maybe little tournaments or little challenges and stuff, right? Like, so we're trying to do all this stuff because really it just builds more value into this week-long event for you guys, like, right? So we're not going to just turn into a convention because that doesn't really make sense. You don't just turn into a convention, right? But we're going to try and introduce these elements and see how they work in the community and if people like them. Because why not? Right?
Yeah,
Like
there's
the
an
worst thing
opportunity
that happens is no one's really into it and it doesn't show up next NASA, right?
Yeah.
yeah, because I know like a bunch of staff members have their own ideas for panels, like Dark with like video stuff, how to like not just like what good capture equipment, but how to actually like use it. Because a lot of people might not know how to like properly use even though like the Dazzle, not just like the more like advanced stuff like OSSC or some of the more complex shit. But it's like there's a lot of ideas you can have a panel for like hardware, for certain games, for like a lot of stuff with speedrunning. And I don't know, there's like a lot of stuff, kind of like how there's like a crap ton of speedrun marathons. It's like there's a whole crap ton of them. It's like what's what's just if you want to watch the ones you want to watch, it can be hard to find.
Yeah. So
Just testing the waters with new opportunities.
right,
Mhm.
exactly. We haven't really been expressing any major opinions. We've done well.
Yeah, yeah. Dark hasn't gone off on a rant.
Not yet.
I'm saving that.
So, you know, what else do you think, like, you guys want to see out of NASA? That's kind of something that I want to ask on the podcast while we're talking about marathons and conventions, because that's, why not? What do you guys actually want? Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you think would be fun?
Oh, yeah.
Or, like,
On stream, the current topic, it's not really listed. I just remember that in the layout. It just says current topic.
I'm
Oh,
doing it,
okay.
yeah. Just we got
Good man, good man.
we went
I
way off
forgot about
topic
that
into
myself.
2 other topics, and then now we're
Yeah,
on our
well,
set
We
topic.
should actually, like, after Dark Fox gets his answers, we should kind of go back on track into the next
Right.
bullet point.
I agree.
So what do you want out of NASA that we haven't talked about, Dark Fox?
What do I want?
Yeah.
I mean, personally, what I think would be really cool would be if, like, we could do things, if we could find other things that people are interested in, not necessarily going into doing something like a CS:GO tournament or something like that, but, like, for example, I am going to try to get a method of cooking at NASA and do a little mini cook-off with Squeaky if he comes, which he's planning on it. He's coming from Sweden. So if he comes, we're gonna do a little mini cook-off. That's the kind of thing that I would totally run a little mini like cook-off where like you cooked some shit
Yeah.
and then people at the event could eat it and it would be a fun time and people would judge it. Like if people are into that kind of shit, right? Like I'm super into cooking, but I don't know what else people are into, right? So
Yeah,
NASA
yes,
movie
15
night,
15 to something like that. You cook for me, and they like that.
You're breaking up bad. Like,
Something like-
say that again.
You gotta
Oh,
repeat that.
Yeah, Canadian internet, dude. It's bad.
I'm somehow working perfectly fine. It's your Alberta internet that's lacking.
Alberta, yeah, sorry.
I think
So what'd you say?
Basically, ESA did that where they had like people. It's like you could sign up and like one person would cook for the other, and it'd be like each day they could be like, you'd cook a meal for someone, and they cook one for you, and it's alternating. Something like that could be cool.
Yeah, like a potluck kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing in the chat, like making board games and card games, giving them
Yeah.
like a little. I know that we're gonna maybe
Shrimp.
try to make the second
Shrimp brought a
stream
bunch.
happen more. We had plans for it in 17, but
Yeah, because like there's a lot of things you could have on the second stream. I think like we should at least dedicate a few hours to be like, all right, shrimp, you got a lot of board games. Let's play some on
I
stream.
mean, you just NASA second stream Mafia. It's already content that you can fill.
Yeah, there's going
As
to be
much as
Mafia.
people hate or love Mafia, that's already a couple hours right there. People
Yeah,
love.
basically, I think
people.
the second stream should just be like what's happening in like the other room, and
Yeah.
there'll be Mafia board games. There's all sorts of shit happening.
Right. And so when it comes to stuff like board games and stuff where you run into a challenge for an event like NASA is literally just having the actual games freely available for people to play. Because I could load up a box with like a crap ton of board games and mail it up to Dan for NASA 18, right? But the problem is that I don't have a lot of money, so I'm not willing to part with things that I've spent a lot of money on because board games are expensive and just let like 80 people randomly mess with them. So you kind of have to have a budget to pay for things like that. That's where you get into the convention space of you have to start trying to make a profit every single time you run an event. That way you can buy more shit for the events.
or partner with vendors and
Or
provide
partner
Also,
with
like to point
vendors.
out,
yeah.
I just like to say in chat, WQ, if you do attend, you can absolutely do an alpha gamer panel if we get panels going. You could have like a 20-minute or 50, whatever long you need to talk about, how to be an alpha gamer. I am 100% okay with that.
Well, I think we can confirm that there are for sure going to be at least a couple of
There will
test
be at
panels.
least minimum
Yeah.
one panel. Hopefully
I
Two
would
to
say
three. There's
minimum
minimum
2.
one.
I would say minimum 2.
Well, I don't want to say minimum of 2
I know.
because I'm going to say minimum of 1. I
Okay.
can promise there will be 1 panel. If there is more, that is just bonus, but there will be at
Yeah.
least 1 panel. We should probably start packing things up because we have less than a minute
All
here.
right, second
Oh, yeah.
intermission.
Third intermission.
Third? God
Yep.
damn, it's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't even
So yeah,
remember the
folks,
second one.
we'll be right back after another possibly short intermission.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. And hey, folks, we are back. Welcome back.
Gone over
Yeah.
something.
Hey, we're back. Welcome back. Hello.
Welcome
Yeah.
back.
Hello, everyone.
Awesome.
Hi.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
getting back onto topics of the conventions and everything, I want to start us back up by going over sort of marathon saturation and how I have a proposal for some consolidation, which I think NASA we already try to do this. I know we have ARPGME and we want Jet Set Radio kind of, and we had Kings of 64 to help
Or like when to schedule pre-nest.
F. Press F
yeah
for Kings of 64.
rip Kings of 64.
And we collaborated with the Speed Souls guys for well, I am one of the Speed Souls guys, but
right.
we collaborated with Speed Souls to do the Speed Souls charity marathon. Which,
Yeah.
if none of you NASA boys saw that, we raised $12,000 for Save the Children. So that was pretty sick.
Dude, nice.
And that was run by Morale, me, and like a couple of other Speed Souls guys and Dan. Like, so that shit was fucking really cool.
Yeah, so NASA has really looked for opportunities to like collaborate and team up with folks. Because if you go onto the Hararo calendar, for example, and you look back at 2017, what you'll see is that almost every single weekend, maybe every single weekend, there's probably at least 2 events going on, online, live, whatever, but there's some sort of speedrunning event that's happening, whether it's some smaller community that's like doing something and they're doing their thing, or there's some event for something similar to what we work with. There's always something going on, and they're super spread out. And I think we've already hammered the point through that nothing gets close to GDQ kind of levels of viewership, or even ESA, speed gaming, RPG, like these sorts of levels with their stuff. And so I think what the direction would go, and I think what would help along bringing up a legitimate new kind of speedrunning convention is that it would need to be this sort of collaboration between a lot of people who already run speedrunning events, smaller or online or otherwise. Because I feel like then if you make this collaboration between people, like say you work with like Sinister One on the Twitch side of things, Feasel on sort of like this, if you have like a tournament aspect to it, and then you work together with a bunch of smaller marathons, take like Calithon, BSG, the Speedrunner Summit, Smash the Record, all these folks, and everyone kind of talks and comes. This is a very utopian idea, obviously, but everyone talks and comes up with this idea that we can all come together to make this speedrunning convention happen at this time. Knowing that you can't travel to everything, that money's tight, that there's legitimacy problems with people attending and all these things. But if you come together and you have all of these sort of reputable folks who are coming together to make this thing and support it, I think that it could really turn into something that would be, kind of like a speedrunning charity that's branded, or a speedrunning convention that's branded as such. And it would also have this like, in essence, it would meet all of the prerequisites that we've already named, this sort of like reasons for why, for what a convention would be, why people would attend events, like what the kind of pull would be. I just think that's, I don't know where that would start, who would start that, but I feel like it would really help make the event bigger in this kind of way that people would envision it and want it to be. I'm thinking specifically of like a tweet that Techie made, where I think he was at some like a bunch of cons and conventions, and he started tweeting that like, why doesn't speedrunning have anything like this? And it's like, yeah, why doesn't speedrunning have anything like this? We don't have the support. We haven't come together as a community to pull together this sort of event in like the kind of big, legitimate way that it can.
Honestly,
for NAS.
No,
Oh,
I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. I was like, for NAS, it's like a lot of people were saying it's like, oh, I want a marathon that's like a smaller marathon that's not GDQs, that's like in around America or whatever. So I was like, there's so many people who want it, but no one actually does it. So I was like, all right, I'll get a hotel contract signed. Studio shows up, people did it.
Mhm.
So I think it's like it's not that it's like hard to find people who want it. It's just somebody needs to throw the first stone or whatever. So I think like a collaboration idea would be really cool, and if we like got the ball rolling, people would
I think
even all Uyami to join.
I think collaboration in the community is really only a new thing just now. Actually, only started really a couple months ago with speed gaming, because it used to be if you're hosting a tournament, who would watch it except for the people actually in the tournament. But with speed gaming, Feasel has actually managed to combine communities, because if a tournament's happening now, you're going to ask Feasel if you can have your tournament aired on speed gaming, and there's now a consolidation going on. If you follow every single speed gaming channel, every single day you'll see that there is some tournament going on, whether that be Randomizer or the Shovel Knight tournament or the Puzzle General. We had our finals on speed gaming. There's a consolidation of speedrun tournaments that at least are happening now. Not so much a consolidation of online marathons. I mean, if people want to do online marathons with us, we're more than happy to help. It's literally how we have ARPG Me and We Want Jet Set Radio. Two Worlds is like, yo, do you guys want to help out with with a marathon? And we're like, yeah. Do you want to like stream it on our channel? Kind of have it like a little NASA thing. He's like, holy shit, that's amazing. I didn't even want that. I just was hoping you guys would help restream or something. And that's the same thing. Mash asked us.
I fucking love Two Worlds.
It was the same thing though. Mash was like, I want to run an online marathon. Are you guys willing to help? And we can have it under the NASA brand and everything. And we're like, awesome, let's do it. And these events are doing really well for everything that's considered. Like I look at our stats all the time on the channel because I'm super into trying to be a social media guru here with stats and all that crap. And there's always growth, and you look, and they're doing extremely well for themselves. As ARPG Me literally only started last year, and it had phenomenal viewership for a first time event, all things considering. So there's consolidation in the speedrunning community is really only a new thing. It's not even a year old of an idea. And I think we're going to slowly eventually get to the point where consolidation will be a thing, where online marathons that don't already have a good viewership are going to start attaching themselves to brands to be able to actually reach out to more people than norm otherwise they would not be able to reach.
What brands are there to be attached to, though? You're not going to attach to AGDQ. Like, GDQ is not going to do that, I don't think.
Well, think about the
You
brands
say
that
this,
AGDQ
but
has.
Yeah, they have.
The hot seat. No, the.
When was the last time they did that?
Yeah, they stopped doing it, but for a while.
Right. Okay, so they don't have that. So what do they have?
So most recently, they
That's
did
not
have
the
a
point.
Hotpick. They've also, I'm fairly certain that what's it called? They had a mystery tournament on at some point, did they not?
Showcase races.
Showcase races happen as well.
I was in one of them.
There was a relay race that happened recently as well. They're not very often, but GDQ does have online events that get attached to them. ESA, as far as I understand it, doesn't really do online things. They'd rather focus on the on-site.
Yeah. They do have more
RPG Limit Break is a perfect example. They have a couple of online marathons. They just finished an online marathon a month or two ago.
How many actual children show up at NASA? I'm sorry, I got distracted by chat. Like none.
But
one.
So for brand wise, there would be RPG Limit Break. A lot of RPG stuff happens on that channel. Our channel is a consolidation brand. ESA, I guess if somebody was really tempted to do it, they could probably do it on ESA's channel. They wanted to.
They're branching out. They got like ESA Germany and.
Yeah, but those are still on-site events, though, right? All things considering.
Yeah.
But GDQ
Yeah.
does do it on the rare exceptions. It's not that they don't, because it's not very common and often that they do it, but they still do it. They had a hotfix that was only specifically to advertise the fact that there was an NES Tetris tournament happening that year. Like, it happened a couple weeks before the actual tournament happened during the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. So they do online stuff like that. Those are, I would say that those are probably the brands that currently, anyways, that people, and speed gaming as well. Those,
I guess
like,
it's going
top
back to the
5
topic
brands.
of like, in order to legitimize it, GDQ would need to do it. Like, even if, like, you know, if Edenol and like all the ESA crew, fucking Oceanside with Apollo Legend, Californiathon, Midwest Speed West, Midwest Speed Fest,
Speed West.
Midwest
Midwest Speed
Speed
Fest?
Fest.
Yes.
And us and like every other marathon except GDQ got together. I mean, that'd be a fucking kick-ass event, but I don't know if people would even consider it. Would they consider it legitimate? I don't know.
If
a
it
weird
was
question.
everyone except GDQ,
I would,
I would
think
hope that we. Yeah, I would hope that we.
Yeah,
by then,
like I hope
you know?
it would, but I'm
Right.
wondering. Yeah, I'm still curious. It's
you
like
would hope that GDQ
how much
would,
of how much of a monopoly is the GDQ's viewership?
That's
I don't
true.
know.
How brand loyal are these people?
Are the viewers? Yeah. Is it like even if they're like, oh, we like just don't have the time or money for this, we'll like tweet about it. It'd be like, yeah, they're like, we'll tweet about this collaboration thing, but it's like, if it's not on the stream isn't on the GDQ channel, it's like with the casual Twitch viewer doesn't only sees 2 speedrun streams a year. Well, like how many of those people would watch? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that really there should be more in-person events. This is my
people didn't
opinion.
watch it, it would be a fucking kick-ass event to attend if you were a speedrunner.
Yeah.
If this utopian thing ever came true.
Right. I think that there need to be more in-person events. I think that's step one. And I think that there's something that like to be said for more just genuine local meetups happening. Like, because like that's how this collaboration happens. Like, really, you have to like go out to the events to really get to know people. Like, the reason why you don't ever see a lot of marathon people talking to other marathon people is because they don't go to the other events. Like,
yeah, if
so
it's
they
just
don't really know
regionally
anyone.
far away.
Yeah, they like know of.
It's not
the
even
people.
that we could be friends. It's just like, man, shit, Sweden's a decent ways away.
Right. Like, I've met like Edenol for like literally 2 minutes, and I doubt that he would recognize me if he saw me. Like, he might now because he's watched the podcast, but like not like if he had just seen me again randomly, right? Like, so like you don't really get to know these people, and so you don't really talk to them ever. So you don't really feel like you like can just hit them up and be like, "Hey, do you guys want to like do this shit or whatever?" Like, so no one really collaborates. So yeah, what is networking? Exactly.
That would also be like an issue that would almost be speedrun specific compared to other games, where with like fighting games, you need to like go interact with other people and have like a meetup to just like get better or do it in general. But speedrunning, you can do that on your own just fine. So
speedrunning is most akin.
There's
to
no
like
necessity. Golf. Yeah, there's no necessity for the group meetups or anything like that. So it's like a lot of the regions are like super local, and it's like that's just it makes sense, but also makes the idea of a convention. It's like it will require that much more of like a collaboration effort to really like kick off.
But there is willingness to collaborate. Like, I feel like like people maybe they just don't think of it as like an option, or they don't want to. Like, maybe it's some sort of power dynamic thing or creative control.
I feel like it's just because they're too afraid to ask, honestly. They're like, oh, the problem is, people are too afraid of the answer being no. When instead they should be like, okay, the answer's no, so I'm exactly where I was.
Right after the show, I'll just tweet to Edenol and all the other dudes, Jeff in 3D, I think he runs Californiathon and all those, and be like, yo, wanna do a collab, just bump, like, I don't care where it is, I don't care whose name is on it, just like have a big speedrun collaboration thing. It would be a convention oriented, if you're watching this stream, fucking, do you want to do it? Because I'm down.
I'm down too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be, at the very least, an interesting conversation to try and coordinate it, especially among
Right.
folks who have done this sort of thing. Like, we're on our 3rd annual event as a staff, and
Yeah.
we've realized logistics. There's experience that comes with that sort of thing, and working with other
3rd
folks
annual
who realistically
is an
know what's
understatement.
going on.
Yeah. 3rd
it would-
annual
it would be
is
good.
is a significant understatement, Lurk.
Sure.
Like, I think that like there's been so many online events, and also DreamHack, as rough as DreamHack was, like, that was definitely a huge learning experience, right?
Yeah. Like,
For
I didn't go
us.
to it, but from all the talk
Yeah.
in Discord and stuff, it feels like you guys learned something from it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
to be
that's
fair,
for
that
sure.
was the event where I literally had to learn how to operate a matrix,
Yep.
which we now use for the rest of our events, along with everything else. So, yeah, there was a lot of learning that happened in that event. It was basically, we have new stuff. This is how we're going to test it out. Just
By
Also, yeah,
doing
that's
the
another
event.
thing that Ginny brings up. A collaboration event would almost necessarily be in the United States. Euros would have to, since there's just the United States just has the most speedrunners population-wise.
Yeah.
I think even like if you were to add up each individual country in Europe, I don't think it tops the United States alone.
Maybe do
It
Chicago
might-
again or something like central.
Yeah.
But it would, it's like
Uh,
just
Giant
it would almost
international
have
airport.
to. It's just out of like the geometric median thing that I talked about. I don't know if anyone actually cared about that. Of like, where's the least distance traveled for all attendees would be somewhere around like Chicago or Toronto ish, and that might be true even if you were to include a lot of Europeans. It would probably only shift not too much, and that's just like it would be East Coast.
Well, no, Chicago's not East Coast at all.
Yeah. I'm saying
Oh,
Not
like,
even
yeah.
vaguely.
if you were to include Europeans, it would be more East Coast.
Yeah, it would be more like DC or New York. But New York is too expensive.
Shit, we
for
could
an
use the
event
same
like that.
hotel GDQ uses.
No.
Except
we
no,
wouldn't.
no. I wouldn't want to do
Um,
that because there's no food within a 40-minute fucking walk.
Yeah,
but,
so first of all, if we were ever gonna have a GDQ in this area, I got that covered. Like, I know exactly where it would be, right? In the mid east, right? But like the thing is that the mid east is not the optimal point to have an event. It really just isn't. Like, DC is not the best point. Really, Chicago is, even though it is a lot further for the Europeans. Like, it is further for the Europeans, but it's like marginal cost wise. Like, it doesn't really make a gigantic difference when you're buying a plane ticket, and it only adds like an extra hour or two. So like you are looking at someplace like Cleveland or Chicago or Columbus or like someplace in the Midwest, Indianapolis, like, but like you need a big major airport, so you have to go to Chicago, and that's the problem. Like, in my opinion, because you can't really, you would have to have people that are based in Chicago, and none of these marathons are based in Chicago, from what I understand. Like, all of our equipment is sitting in Dan's house in Toronto, minus like my
There's your
capture
equipment.
card. Yeah, minus like my capture card and Lurk's capture card and like our computers and shit.
Those
Like,
crazy guys has my old capture card.
Yeah.
I guess actually you can see right there on there's two of the things that you showed me that they used to use at ESA that was like a switchers / matrix. Like, I'll just grab it. Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Buffalo is like right next to Toronto, relatively
Usually the
speaking.
2016 NASA.
In fact,
Oh, those
when I
silver
go
box. Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
go to NASA 18, I'm gonna be flying into Buffalo probably, or Albany, and then being driven across the border. So
But yeah,
it's
another
not
shout out
like,
to you. He's a cool dude.
Buffalo's just not a great city for that, in my opinion. It's just not really a great city, in my opinion.
I like Cleveland
No offense,
personally.
Lurk. I love you. No offense.
That's
But-
cool. Buffalo's not the greatest. I like it though.
No. I think you want to go for like a vacation-y city, right? Like Toronto or like
Yeah, you'd want something
Chicago,
there.
for
Yeah.
better or worse. Chicago could be considered a vacation-y city.
Come on down to Orlando. I got you.
Right, like you could do an event down there, and it would probably be a big enough draw if you did it at the right time of year, but it would also be ungodly expensive to get the space with the internet speeds that you would need, right? Like you just couldn't do something like that. So like collaborating to do something like this, you're basically going to be stuck where it has to be relatively large if you're going to have it in a fashion that's going to be successful, like right off the bat to some extent. Like that's how DreamHack is successful, because they set up all these tournaments and stuff. And I don't think that the speedrun community is really at that point yet. Like I actually think that part of the thing is that like we're talking about starting to do groundwork with NASA and stuff like that, and I just don't actually think that, while I think the speedrun convention there's actually like definitely something there, right? That eventually it's going to happen one way or another, probably. I don't think that that's going to be like
exactly
for a
when
couple
is hard
of
to
years,
say.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. I think it's going to be at least a couple more years, because you just don't have enough people that know how to run on-site events that are into speedrunning like that yet, like, and that are interested in collaborating at this point. The networking hasn't taken place, like, yeah. I just don't think that it's going to happen right now. I think that it's going to be fun to play with, like, doing convention type things, and maybe that would be the solution. Maybe we test this stuff out, it's a huge hit, everyone comes to NASA 19, and look, NASA's, a mini convention, right? Just to test the idea out with like maybe like 150 attendees. We're at what, like 80 now?
Give it a
right.
go. Yeah.
You get small there, and then you can go from something like that. But the thing is that you're not going to see something like just pop up, I don't think, right now. Like, I just don't think that the foundation for something like that exists in the community at this point.
Also, even if we did manage to get like a bunch of people want to collaborate, I wouldn't even say it needs to be NASA or anything, because like the brand I don't really care much about. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a literal ESA knockoff.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, that's not even a problem. If you get enough people to create a convention, literally every brand could have their own thing. It's not even a problem.
Each day.
It's not even each day. Each portion could be a specific part of the stream.
Speed gaming could run tournament. I had this conversation in text chat this weekend when we were going over these ideas or these thoughts, right? Like, you could have speed gaming run a tournament. You could have run tournaments. You could have like NASA and do like a showcase stream, and have like ESA come in and do like a charity stream, or whoever do like a charity stream, and then have like panels and like all this other shit, right? Like with content from like popular speedrunners or popular speed games with like tutorials or tech or vendors selling, RGB stuff and like capture cards and shit like that. Like,
yeah,
I really think that, that's something that eventually would happen. I mean, most like hobbies involved in gaming, I think that speedrunning is a subgenre of like the hobby of gaming. I think that it's a big enough thing that like it's going to become something that people are going to want a convention for, right?
It will happen, but I think we could also talk about what's going to happen now. Ooh. Guess what this is? A signed contract.
Is it?
Yeah,
we'll get to that in a moment, I think.
Yeah.
What?
Hang on. Let's finish.
Anything more on this topic to say? Oh shit! I thought we were done.
Dude's blowing his load way beforehand. Like,
yeah.
I thought you were done with this topic, man.
Lurk, it's
Lurk's topic. I was giving my like thoughts about
any
like
final
whether
thoughts
or not
on the
this
marathon
is really...
topic before we get into our NASA announcement that Larry already cummed all over everything for.
I like those crazy guys' comments. He's blue balling the audience.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
contract,
fuck
guys.
everything you're talking about. We just want the info. Just fucking give it already.
So Lurk,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
You have something you wanted to say? Sorry.
His last thoughts.
Everyone give your last thoughts.
All right, I'll be really brief with mine. As a speedrunner and someone who loves speed events as much as I try to go to them, whenever possible, out of this entire podcast, I have to say the thing I want the most, if NASA ever transforms into or a con or ever attempts to do something related to a con, the only thing I want out of the con for it to be fun for me as a speedrunner is to have a quality games list, have a decent showing, have good quality tech, like not be a complete train wreck every 5 seconds like AGDQ, where I have to wait here and be awkward and be like, well, shit, this is awkward, as I sit on the couch and wait till someone has to fix my mic or wait till my TV's finally like adjusted properly. That's all I want. And panels are nice. Events around the event are nice. Like outside of it's great too. Like locations like super important. But for me, if I'm going to pay $70 for a week-long event, it's a con with a bunch of normies or even speed enthusiasts. The only thing I want yet again is just have a good showing, good selection of games, and maybe some influential speedrunners. That would also help. That's it for me.
Yeah, I just my last thoughts I guess would be this. I hope that that people would be open to sort of the collaboration and the idea of a convention, because I agree that it's kind of an inevitability, but I hope that it's done in like a collaborative way where the community has buy-in and that there's actual ways to interact beyond just like showing up and seeing what happens, and being able to really take part and to like provide opportunity for people to have fun. I think that would be a lot of work, and obviously the whole coming together thing can be it's sort of utopian and people have their own shit going on. A lot of stuff has to work out for it to really work correctly, but it would be a really interesting thing to see and to discuss further. So anyone else last thoughts? Otherwise we're going to go to a quick intermission and then we'll get to our big announcement.
I'm just gonna say that whatever we
wonder what
decide
it
to
is.
happen, I will be there and I will do my best to make sure that tech is not a shit show.
Thank God. That's what we need more of. We need less core jungles and like actual like competency at these events. And I shouldn't have to see the stream screen say, "Oh, it looks like we're having tech issues. Be right back, guys." And then it happens another hour, and then I wonder, why am I watching this event when I could just go watch NASA that rarely had that many tech issues?
Yeah,
Well,
those
first
crazy guys can
NASA,
attest.
day
When
one,
hack
first
happened,
NASA.
it was
I think we can all agree. Day one, NASA
It was
16. That was a train wreck.
Yeah, it was a turn. I didn't want to. Sorry, I
Hey.
didn't mean to dive down this hole, but
Oh yeah,
we're gonna
it's like
dive down the hole slightly, but
we started
because I
learning
just want
pretty
to,
fast.
yeah, I just want to say, until Niglaria unplugged the Dazzle, all of my tech worked.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Until Niglaria unplugged the Dazzle, all the tech worked. The internet just blew, and that had nothing to do with my setup. So
I'm just gonna say, like, I do my shit to make sure that stuff works. First NASA, people were like worried for my health because I stayed up and I was fixing shit in the middle of the night. Just like,
Yeah.
fuck it. I'm commandeering this stream and I'm making sure that it's not gonna have issues going forward. DreamHack, I literally did not sleep except for a couple hours. Lurk can attest to that, along with my brother and those crazy guys and everybody else who went to the first DreamHack Montreal. I had to sleep on a beanbag chair underneath the table in order to get some naps during the runs, just to make sure that people had a quality fucking stream going on and that things were working. Last NASA, I did as much as I possibly could. So I'm just fucking down to make sure that
I
shit
think
works.
we can all agree that there was, compared to like NASA 2016 and 2017, there was a huge upgrade in the stream quality, and I can take no credit for that. Literally zero.
Reminder, I wrecked my car 30 minutes into my drive to NASA 16 and then continued to drive to Chicago.
That dedication.
Fucking. Yep.
All right, and with that, we actually don't need the intermission at all. Nyclaria, what were you saying about that piece of paper you had? What was that about?
Wow, my webcam is having trouble. This is
Oh
to
man.
be a contract that's signed.
Who signed it?
I did,
Oh shit.
and I sent this to the person who sent me the contract, and they're like, "Yo, you can sign this." And it's the Holiday Inn and Suites Parkway Conference Center in St. Catharines, which is a train ride from Toronto.
Well, bus ride.
Bus ride. You
Bus
can
ride.
take a train
Yeah.
to partway there.
It's
But, yeah, it's about an hour
obviously-
away from Toronto with a car.
Yeah, there's a 2-room Chardonnay ballroom and Cabernet room for $550 and $200 a day. That's a total of $750 a day with taxes.
That's
That'd be
Canadian.
Yeah,
Canadian. That'd be 13%. 750, 13. That'd be 10s. It's 800.
We did the math
40?
already.
We did the math, and we
we
can
already did
post
the math.
about it in the
Basically-
forum.
I
basically,
told
if
them
we
what
s-
it would cost
Yeah,
for 80 people.
with 80 people, it would be like roughly $70.
So multiply
American?
70. Yeah.
$70 Canadian or American?
It would be 70 American. So multiply 70
70
USD by 80.
And that's we're gonna have
that's
like
your
a
total cost
pre-NASA.
in American.
We're gonna have like last year. We'll have like a pre-NASA that will like go trying to cover the costs. If that covers like 1,000, that would lower the price like $10 ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to note that at the moment, like registration and tickets are not open.
No.
Oh yeah, we're gonna wait till like pre-NASA and
Yeah.
shit, just because that way we can have like know what will actually cover it, because literally the price is just gonna be whatever the conference spaces is, and then badges, and then divide that by like the number of attendees, and that's the price.
So yeah, it's taking place June 4th. That's a Monday. Up
There we
until
go.
June 10th, which is a Sunday.
I forgot to mention that. Good call.
Yes.
Yeah.
The dates.
And
Kinda important.
there is going to be a web page up. It might already be
It's
up.
up.
Yeah, it's already
It's
up.
up.
Lurk posted
Um,
it in
Here, we can
chat.
transition to
Yeah,
it right
so you
now.
can
Everyone's
you
seeing
can
it.
go to that web page, and it's gonna have all your info. It's gonna show you where the hotel is. It's gonna tell you what
So-
it has and what the group room code
Just
is
as
for
a-
group rates.
Just as a bit of some information, because some people are probably wondering why we pick this hotel and specifically. We did take feedback from the last venue that we were at. One of the things that people complained about was food, and rightfully so. If you were not into essentially Asian cuisine, you were pretty fucked on food, because
Yeah,
the
there's
McDonald's that
burger-
was nearby was not 24/7. The Denny's was
Burgers
not
and
24/7.
Asian,
It was not. If you were not into that type of cuisine, you were pretty much fucked. So we looked for a place that had a good amount of food that was nearby. This hotel, on the plaza that it's in, has a Boston Pizza, which is a sports bar restaurant type deal. It has a Tim Hortons. It has a Booster Juice, I believe now. It has a Thai. It has a Thai cuisine, and the hotel itself has a bar. It has a restaurant, obviously.
Geez. Yeah.
Across the street, there's a grocery store. There's a Burger King. There's a pizza joint. There's a sub place. There's a fish and chips place. If you walk 5 to 10 minutes down the street, you're gonna hit Taco Bell, KFC, and McDonald's. There's a Jack Astor's, which is a bar. There's a Lazy Lizard, which is a bar as well. Restaurant bars. Oh yeah, across the street of the hotel, there's another bar as well. So needless to say, there is a lot more food options available, and especially since Tim Hortons and McDonald's are 24/7 and within walking distance. If you walk in the other direction downtown, there's a lot more food options. So to put it short, we fixed the food options that were happening there. There's a lot more space in this venue as well. The last venue that we were in, the rooms that we had were basically it. The only other room they had was a massive ballroom, and that kind of wouldn't have worked. So this hotel
Actually-
has a lot more split apart. So we have 2 rooms, and that's going to work a lot better.
Yeah,
So-
when Shadow Jackie said "glad I'm not picky," I thought of a few jokes, and then he brings up. Actually, I am curious. Are there any gay bars nearby?
Dude, you're right beside Niagara Falls. I guarantee what you're looking for is there.
Nice.
The
I had
Niagara
it, like,
Falls
right
is
when
a
he said-
15
So,
to
yeah.
20 minute drive away, by
right
the
when
way.
SJ said I'm not picky, a few jokes started getting in my head, and I couldn't stop smiling.
If
So-
you want to go to Niagara Falls as part of like pseudo vacation, there's stuff there. The
Yeah,
hotel
there's-
itself also, it has a bowling alley built into it. Wednesday has all you can bowl and chicken wings. So people will probably be excited for that.
Fuck yeah,
There
dude.
is an arcade
Yeah.
that recently opened in the hotel as well.
God
There's a roof
damn.
bar patio.
Yeah.
There-
There's a bar on the roof, and it's gonna be June.
So there's in the plaza itself, there's a trampoline park. There's a Sky Zone. There's also another place opening up that has laser tag and escape rooms and mini golf and all that shit. So, needless to
Yeah.
say, this was the place that had the best things for people to do.
I'm sure we'll also
incentivize to
plan
come.
another Wonderland trip or something.
Yeah,
some such.
Wonderland
Yeah.
is not that far away.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
car ride away. If you want to go to the falls, it's a short trip away as well. So,
I'm pretty sure it's a yes, but just to confirm from Jenny's question, there's a gym and a pool.
more than likely, yeah. I would not put it past it.
I'm almost 100% positive that both of those things are a thing, and you can check by going to the NASA website and, checking out the hotel info.
Someone asked about the internet. We've checked that out. We've vetted
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole venue for its internet situation.
They have 25
good.
megabits upload for reference on average.
Yeah, literally, like the way I look for
Yeah.
hotels is looking at places where there's lots of food, then look at the hotels, and then like dark areas or those crazy guys. They would go and check out the internet, and then it's like if it's good, then that's an option. And
Will personal streams be allowed? No, not without permission.
They're probably
Yeah,
I would say-
last
permission.
year.
I guess if it's on
permission
if it's on the
based.
hotel internet, like if it's on your own, go for it. If it's
Yeah.
like tethered.
If it's on your own, go for it. Yeah, if it's on the hotel, then just ask,
Please ask.
because like if there's
Please.
too many going at once, it will affect the stream. Like we could afford
is
probably
it-
like 2
D-
going at like 1K bit rate, very easily. But like I don't want to fuck with the stability of the stream at all. So yeah, because we're gonna probably have a second stream potentially, maybe. It's
Hopefully.
still it's hopeful, yeah.
I think
we want
we
it.
want it, but whether or not it happens is still up in
Yeah.
the air.
Yeah.
Also, we have less than a minute, so I think we should just let everybody stew on that information while we.
Like,
And hey, we're back live. Welcome back. So, NASA 2018, the info is all out there. Just want to reiterate that
Well-
you can book your hotel information and flights now. Ticket and registration stuff will come
Yeah.
out later, open in a couple of months.
For you Americans, it's in Canada, so you'll need a passport.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
will want to get a passport. There is a
Get
link. in
earlier
info
the
page.
better.
Yeah, to get you
Yeah.
started. Probably Walgreens is
Um,
your best bet. I believe they're a national brand.
Yeah.
They have a pretty good, like they take your photo, they help you through the application process. It's probably best just to go through them to get that going. And you want to do that as soon as possible, for sure.
So
Actually,
technically, no, I don't think YYZ is the closest
I think
airport.
they're
I
going
think
closer, yeah.
Buffalo is technically the closest airport, like the closest major airport. But you have to cross the border by car.
They're close. They're close.
Are they? I thought
Yeah, because
Buffalo
the
was
thing
only
is-
30 minutes away.
Yeah, but there's also the fact that the Buffalo airport is, takes travel time, plus the
Well,
fact
yeah,
that
sure.
you're waiting at the border. So it's going to end up being close
That's
to
fair.
the same time as going in from YYZ
Well,
It's
wouldn't that just
whichever's
change like
for you.
going through customs before at the airport versus going through it then? I mean, it might be similar time wise. I'm not sure.
Possibly.
So the hotel, there are if you're gonna use the group rate what do you get? 2 queen beds?
Yep.
Just a regular room with 2 queen beds?
Yeah.
They do
Did
have
you,
some suites.
The link is in there, right? I didn't
Yeah.
check it myself.
Yeah.
The page.
The
It
link is
yeah.
in there. They do have some suites. I looked into it a little bit because I'm looking at getting one. That's I do not believe going to be included in the group rate at all. But like they've got some that have kitchenettes so you can cook. And they've also got some with like nice ass hot tubs and shit like that. But that's pretty
If
cool
y'all
too.
cheap as shit like me, you're gonna want to go for not the hot tub ones.
I just want to be able to cook. That's the thing. Like I want to be able to cook while I'm there.
Get that George Foreman, man.
No, I just need the portable griddle and the camp stove.
Yeah, that was. I remember talking to someone about last year. It's like literally you could get like the campfire kind of cook setups.
Yep,
And it'd
the
be
camp
like
stove.
portable.
Mhm.
And you could use that shit for cooking.
Technically, but I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to do that in your hotel room. Technically,
But yeah, they might frown on that. I mean, you could just
believe
cook
they would.
outside.
Can we just bring a microwave?
You probably could, yeah.
Yeah.
So why not?
You could literally just
Why not,
like
you know?
3 o'clock. It would be like just everyone brings their little grills outside the hotel.
Yeah, just
We go
out in
on
the parking lot.
We go on. Yeah, we go on go in the parking lot. We have a little cook off. It'd be fun.
There was a question of when will run submissions happen? Probably more closer to when like the registration and ticket stuff is also open. So not for a couple months
Yeah.
at least. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
probably
until
not
after.
until.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like shortly
Right
after
after
pre-NASA.
NASA.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we're gonna open submissions right after NASA. Actually,
Like at
I
the
think
end of
that's the best-
pre-NASA, we will literally turn that like link submission
Yeah.
page on.
Probably around
We should-
pre-NASA's. Yeah.
Just because like at the end of pre-NASA, then we'll know concretely what the the ticket price will be, because then it'll be like because the price is basically going to be the conference costs minus pre-NASA divided by the attendee count. So right when pre-NASA ends, then we'll like, all right, now like
So
we'll have a set ticket price, so everyone who wants to
Speaking-
go will know.
speaking of that, if anyone has paid attention to Hararo, which no one has, I guarantee it. Pre-NASA is going to be happening. It's going to be starting on Friday, March 16th, and running well until we say it runs. So probably through Sunday, if I were to guess, the 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Yeah, that's when we're aiming to have it somewhere around there.
Yep.
Yep. Looks like a good weekend for everyone.
Also,
Yeah,
then
free
the
streaming wise.
follow-up question: when do submissions for that open?
Probably shortly.
Yeah.
There's a
Probably-
reason they're not open right now, which we'll get into after we're done talking about the venue.
Yeah.
It's because we're doing something else.
Yep. So, other questions about the venue? Lance, do you have any questions?
Sounds amazing to me. Honestly, yet again, it meets my expectations. If I can walk to a food stop, or even if I have to take like a train or something, that's fine. Compared to what I had to do in 2016, I had to get an Uber, which cost me out of pocket. Then I had to go eat my food, which obviously cost me out of pocket. Then I had to get another Uber to the next destination I need to go to because we didn't want to sit in the hotel because it was fucking boring and bland. It would eat my wallet up really, really quickly. And the whole
Yep.
point of a marathon as a speedrunner who wants to go to these things is I should not have to have my wallet get completely devoured. I mean, of course, I'm going to spend money. There's no question about it. Like everything that has just been described since the announcement is amazing. The bowling, that's the moneymaker for me. I'm like I'm in that. Like we're not even talking about Wonderland. Like the
Yeah,
bowling
what
shit,
I
man.
did and what I recommend every marathon like would-be organizer, if you want to do a hangout, is like the first place you should look. It's like, where's all the food at? It makes sense, especially if it's a 24-hour event. At any point in time, someone's going to be hungry. So having a 24-hour food place, that's really nice.
Yeah,
It
if you
is.
got 24-hour, that's going to accommodate for everybody. Because you're going to have people who are going to be graveyard shift. You're going to have those boys who just did their run at like 3 o'clock ass in the morning. And they're like, man, I could go for some sweet Denny's or something. Well, there's probably not Denny's
Yeah,
in Canada.
No,
even if
there's
it's
Denny's in
there's
Canada.
Denny's.
It just sucks.
But it's like even if it's like you have
Oh,
like proper restaurants during the day, as long as there's like an option, like even if it's a fucking like convenience store or whatever, like a gas station, like if you can get some food at like 3 a.m., it's like it's really nice for when you just finished your run at 3 a.m. and you're like, damn, I want to get something to eat.
Yeah, especially like
Nice.
I remember, Dan, you remember when we went to fucking Walmart at like 4 o'clock in the morning at NASA 16 to go get what were we? I bought a fucking party platter of like crackers and meats and cheese and like a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah, we went with those crazy guys. It was great.
Yeah. So that was like all of us who had been up like doing tech and shit. Like we needed something to eat. So like it's vital. Like having food all the time.
To answer Jenny and a lot of people, like sensible people, is the water fine? Can you drink it? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That's actually a good question.
Because I remember CFB and a few of the Americans, they're like, I just went up to the tap in one of the rooms, like fill it with water and drink it, and they're like, what? You can drink the water?
Yeah, our water.
What is this? It's like it's not like American water where it's like I swear there's something wrong with it. It was just like it was plain good water. Because I know the Gothenburg water, that was some good shit. Credit where
it's due. There's no chemicals in the water.
Yeah, there's no mind-altering government chemicals or nanomachines. Canadian water is nanomachine free, and it's nice.
Nice. Okay, that even makes it better. So.
Shit, this water wasn't canned in Canada.
So I think we can safely move on now. If anyone else has any further questions about the venue, if you have any issues booking the hotel, whatever it is, hit us up. Let a NASA staff member know what's up, and we'll help you.
Yeah, I should open like thread on that for the NASA forum.
I did
as well.
It's there.
Okay, cool.
It's very simple. So yeah, if you have any questions and you want to post them there, yeah, we'll respond to you somewhere.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
So moving on, we have another. Well, I guess Aries, what is this? A reiteration of an announcement?
Yeah.
Essentially, I'm trying to just broadcast this to as many points that I can.
All right. Well, let me run your video real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say run the video first. Let chat see it first.
Ooh.
The following video has been approved for all puzzle audiences. I'll explain this in a second.
Wow. That's
So to answer Neglera's question of who would be doing a blind run of Portal, nobody, because most of the games that were shown in there are banned games, because I don't want to show games that people would be playing.
Okay.
But, to answer this now, the Mystery Puzzle Challenge is it's a thing that I've kind of planned with people in Puzzle General, mainly BB Forky, currently a GDQ right now. But it's basically, in the Puzzle General community, we like to do different tournaments and everything. And one of the things that people were like, oh, we should do like a mystery tournament. Oh, we should do a marathon. Oh, we should do a relay race. And I was like, you know what? Out of all those options, I want to do a mystery tournament, because the direct inspiration of this, I'm going to spoil it. I was thinking of maybe having this game in the tournament, but fuck it. When I was watching Mystery Tournament and they were playing Aqua Rush and they were doing absolutely terrible in the game. I was like, we can do better than this. And a couple of us were actually playing the game while that tournament was happening, and we're like, how are they having so much difficulty in this game? But this is really fun too. And it kind of led into the fact, well, since puzzle games are generally the worst offenders in mystery tournaments in terms of difficulty, because it seems
it's a
that
very different skill set.
yeah, if you're not good at a puzzle game, you'll just get stumped and lost, and you're gonna hate life, and you're gonna wonder why why this game got chosen for you. So we decided to create a mystery tournament that's essentially just puzzle games. The ruling and everything might be a little bit different. I'm still trying to figure out exactly logistically how I want everything to go, but it's very based off of mystery tournament. I'm actually also talking with the people who run mystery tournaments. They're super into it as well, so that's more of that networking going on right there. But yeah, so to sign up, there's the link that you saw in the video, mpcreg.puzzlegeneral.com. That brings you to a Google form. You just fill it out. There was the requirement that you needed to have a puzzle game to register for the tournament. I removed that because there was games where people were like, "Oh, I want to join, but I don't have a game that would be kind of good for a mystery tournament. It's too popular, or it's in the ban list." So, with the help of people who were in mystery tournaments and myself, who have a bunch of games, we have a stockpile of spare games for you. You don't have to submit. It's recommended that you submit, but a game with it, but you don't need one. We have you covered. Me and those crazy guys have been hard at work testing the games, trying to make sure that the goals and everything that are submitted are working. It's going to be streamed to the NASA channel. Being part of NASA and Puzzle General, I have a lot of it's really easy to try to coordinate things between the two groups. But what's going to happen is the matches are going to be streamed to the NASA channel. Any overflow matches that happen will be happening on the Puzzle General channel. If there's more overflow that's needed, I believe I've been offered the fact that they can get streamed to the Mystery Tournament Twitch channel as well. They've offered that up. So that will, if we need more overflow, there will be matches on there as well. The YouTube VODs will go up onto the Puzzle General's YouTube channel, because I'd rather keep the NASA YouTube clean with just having the marathon events, not this mystery puzzle challenge that can go on the Puzzle General YouTube, which kind of allows for growth of both communities as well. It's not just kind of a one-sided deal. It allows for growth, which is why I decided against having something like this on Speed Gaming, because I very well could have had it on Speed Gaming. But it's a lot more beneficial to both NASA and Puzzle General to collaborate like this. And the one thing that I do want to mention as well is that this tournament is actually going to be probably the first of its kind. It's going to have a prize. The first, second, and third place winners of this tournament are going to get either a medal or a trophy. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to spend actual money to 3D print a little token to say that you got first or second or third place in this tournament, and that is yours to keep. Going to be awesome. And just to kind of to legitimize the tournament a little bit, like, you get a prize. It'll probably be a medal, because those are probably going to be cheaper to 3D print and design. But if you want to get in, register. It's very easy. Just fill out the form, join the Puzzle Discord, go to the tournaments channel, type in !register space player, and PuzzleBot will register you in the tournament. You'll get access to the secret mystery puzzle challenge room.
Which thing am I going to
Tournaments?
Tournaments, okay.
I've been told that the Puzzle General Discord is actually very neat and organized by other people. Like, you first thing you do is you see welcome and announcements and communities and commands list. That's the first thing you see, which I've been told is a very good thing. But
cool.
Yeah,
I'm registered.
Dark Fox is now registered as a player in the Mystery Puzzle Challenge. He now sees the Players Lounge. You can see everybody else that's in the tournament. So that's all you got to do. The matches are going to start on the 15th. I'm going to close registration on the 10th. The reason for that is that gives 5 days to schedule out the matches. And Warriors Woods happens actually apparently tomorrow on the 8th, which means that when they do a Puzzle General shout out, that still gives 2 days for registration. But yeah, I'm super excited for this tournament. It's beyond just a regular kind of like Pokemon Puzzle League speedrun tournament or anything, Dr. Mario, stuff like that. This is like a crazy first time for me to do stuff like this, and I want to do it right. And it's going to be really awesome. There's cool things that I want to do with it, like the fact that you guys saw the little trailer video I made. I'm going to kind of cut that up and make it the intro to every single stream that happens for Mystery Puzzle Challenge. There's going to be a little like 15 to 30 second clip that starts off the match showing this is the game and these are the bullet points and this is the control scheme for the game, so the viewers kind of know more about the game itself. There's going to be a little fight card that shows these are the 2 runners and this is kind of like their bullet points of what games they are and how far they've gone. These are their Twitch and stuff like that. I want to make it more production value in comparison to what it normally is. So I don't know how this is going to work out for me, but I think that it's going to be really legit. And if you people stick around for it, I think we're going to witness a really awesome tournament. So
Right on.
that's all I got to say about that. Go sign up.
Yeah, make
And
sure
if you
sign
want to
up
help out, you can also sign up to help out. So
Sweet.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I think that about wraps us up here for this episode. It is very likely for everyone watching that we might do another January episode. We're pretty excited to get to continue on in our, this is only our second shindig here. So stay tuned.
Are we not going to do recommendations and stuff?
Nope, we're skipping all that. We've already
All
hit
right,
the 3
sick.
hour
To
mark.
to be fair, this
so
is
Can
a
I-
very long.
Can I
episode.
give one recommendation?
if you read Discord, you know that, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah. My one recommendation is book your hotel for NASA 18, because
book
if
it
you
now.
want to support NASA, the number one way to do it is to attend the event.
Well said. All right. See you later, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, guys.
No Major Opinions was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience.